Welcome to Game Changer Weekly. John, how are you doing this Tuesday evening?
Oh my gosh, this is a crazy day. I think you've been busy and I've been busy. And yeah, so we've got a lot to talk about. This was a busy weekend. As you were saying on Twitter there just a couple moments ago, we're going to be talking a little bit about deathmatch wrestling, goods and bads. So yeah, we've got a lot going on. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. You said, yeah, busy weekend. Had to fit these shows in. Literally last minute. I finished the show last night. I know you finished it a little earlier today, but we got
Yeah.
it finished. And yeah, we got two shows to cover tonight, and yeah, we got a busy night ahead of us.
Whew. Okay, so we have some news here, but I would say it's news, but I feel like it's more just a little bit of data for you. When it comes to the most matches this year at GCW 2024, I was going to give you the top 5 people. And I wanted to see if you could maybe guess number one, or if maybe anybody who wanted to put in chat who number one may be. So, who's had the most matches at GCW? Number 5, Cole Radrick. 33 matches there. Cole's last match was July 20th at Don't Tell Me What to Do. If he attended every show since injury, as he usually would have, he'd be in the number one spot by a few matches. Also, following his Twitter, you'll see the making of a new Cole Radrick on the horizon. He's on a treadmill using his leg, so we're really looking forward to that. Number 4, most matches, Effie with 37. Now, tied for numbers 1, 2, and 3. If the fans want to, who do you feel has the most matches at GCW so far this year? All right, we have Effie as one of the choices here, and great one. Nice to see you today.
Yes, what's up,
And
good one?
and we have here that, well, I see we got the lumberjack match with Joey and Mance announced. Yeah, we've got a lot going on here. So I'll just go ahead and rip it off here real quick. Numbers 1, 2, and 3 are tied for first place for the most matches at 40. So that's Broski Jimmy, Joey Janela, and Mance Warner.
I would guess
I'll
Mance would have been up there for sure.
Dude's a workhorse, and he's putting in so much time. And it's like every show his story is developing. It just makes sense. Now we're going to go on to the most wins at GCW in 2024 so far. Number 4 and 5 are tied. Mance Warner and Blake Christian with 20 wins. Number 3, Masha Slamovich with 22. Number 2 is Effie with 24. And if the fans want to write real quick, who has the number 1 spot for the most wins in GCW right now, and how many would that be? I believe we do have one in here with Janela right now. We got rated by Effie, a big chumps in here. Lysol, nice to see everyone. Welcome.
Thank you, Effie.
Our number one for the most win is Joey Janela with 26 wins so far this year. I have 2 more little things we'll run down. Who has the most draws at GCW right now? We'll do the top 3. Number 3, Allie with 3. Number 2, Effie with 6. Who does everyone feel has the most draws at GCW this year? Right,
That
there's
one
an
makes
answer.
sense.
A big chump. Yes, it does. And a big chump would be 100% correct. Mance Warner has the most draws at GCW this year with 13. And again, it looks like the ones with Allie and the ones with Effie are all tied to Mance Warner also.
I hate that stat. I hate 13 matches. We didn't get a finalized winner or loser. That one actually kind of hurt there.
Right?
That's a lot. That's a lot for 1 year, man. And one person in 1 year.
That's a lot
13
of hell
out of his
raising.
40 matches so far have been not finished or not have a clear winner. That's almost half his matches there.
Yeah.
Yeah, deathmatch royalty.
Dude, chaos, total chaos. I love it. Okay, so this is the last one. Who has the most losses at GCW? We'll go with the top 5. Number 5, Alec Price, 18 losses. That's kind of a surprise to me. Number 4 and 3 are tied at 19. That's Marcus Mathers, Jack Cartwheel. Number 2, this hurts my feelings personally, with 20 losses, Cole Radrick. And then who does everyone think would be the number 1 for the most losses of the year? See what comes up on that one.
I wouldn't have guessed that one, the number 1, that's for sure.
No, me neither.
Alec Price and Cole, I thought maybe would be up there just because every week we talk about them, they're never getting any momentum, so that kind of made sense. And like that one kind of sucked too. Hearing
All right. Well, great one ended up with the answer here. It's
Great
correct.
women's trivia.
31 losses in 2024. Jimmy Lloyd is our number one on that stat. I wanted to go ahead and give somebody another little stat here. In Dave Prazak's wrestling career, he's teamed with CM Punk twice. The first was against a team that featured sensational Sherry Martel. The other was a match against Axel Rotten, Colt Cabana, and Sherry Martel. Figured I would put that one out there. Maki Ito also announced today she's heading back to Japan. On this trip, she didn't defend her title. And so far, she's had 4 defenses this year. Sandra Moon on April 20th, Murdoch on August 2nd, Ali on August 4th, and the great Sasuke on August 13th. I really do hope at some point that number does come up. We'll find out. Rena, on the other side, hasn't defended her UV belt since a match against Billy Dixon at Big Gay Brunch, which we've spoken about before. I don't know if that was really a true title defense. Outside of that, she's had one real defense on January 12th against John Wayne Murdoch, and that means we really haven't seen a title defense in 8 months. My opinion, and here's where I'm going to get crucified tonight, possibly, but my opinion, she's good, but I don't know if it's see you in 10 months good. I don't know if she's hold on to this title for 766 days good. She's not ignore the fans' request for a new champion good. I don't think she's better than Sawyer Wreck. She's not better than Murdoch. She's not better than Drew Parker or Big F and Joe. And if we want to pick overseas title holders, those last 2 I think would suffice. So I'm just wondering who's benefiting in this one, because I think fans should come first. And if we are supposed to forget those titles exist, then I think it's okay to say that. Those are our hardcore titles, though. The same type of matches that put GCW on the map and tethers fans to this company today. But regardless, paying fans have been asking for it be active and openly defended for years. We have fantastic death matchers inside and outside of the company. We can't give our deathmatch workhorses the belt to accentuate their efforts. It's something I'm questioning. But yeah, Sawyer, Murdoch. What about a champion that could have faced Tremont in the last month or two? Could have been a fantastic championship match. Manders couldn't have come back with one of the belts from Japan and had a true couples feud over the belt with, Sawyer. Imagine that pop when she wins. But also, just to be fair, and let's be real, GCW fans have canceled a large majority of the active deathmatch wrestlers out there that we have not been able to see. That whittles down the talent pool by a lot, and the deathmatch world is already very thin. And I feel like in GCW's position as the number 1 independent company in the world, the best deathmatch wrestling should happen under this roof, not in a cornfield in Nebraska. Not saying I miss the people as much as I miss their work. So I just wanted to put it out there before Brent makes his point. I'm on one side of the argument tonight, and before he knew that I was going to say something, he was going to accentuate the other side of GCW deathmatch wrestling in the past couple weeks, past couple months.
At least from this show, this weekend, at least, I got 4 new competitors that I've been asking for and stuff. So I would say over the last couple months, we've got maybe a little bit more, not a little bit more, but like different talent, but more so after this weekend. I think they are. Yeah, that was where I'm gonna go later. Great one. I kind of have during the first show, I got a pretty big note on where I think this deathmatch wrestling is going right now in GCW, what my kind of hope for NGI is, and kind of like what I have kind of booked out and planned already. But yeah, I think I'll get to that one later just because it kind of fits in with that part of the notes and that part of the show. But yeah, I have a different feeling. I if it was before this weekend, probably even I would have been 100% with you on that, just because we've kind of been talking about the lack of death matches and the title defenses from those 2 champions. That we've been talking about that constantly over the last few months, it seems like, even. But yeah, later on I got some kind of notes of where I would like to see from NGI with the current state of deathmatch wrestling in GCW, where it stands up literally at this moment, and some other thoughts and hopes I would like to see in the near future.
Well, that's going to be fun to talk about. I wanted to play my side, and I had no idea that you were going to talk about this. So this is going to make for an interesting night. What I do like about these kind of talks is that I do appreciate that on my side, I know there's people that do agree with me, and on your side, there's going to be people that agree with you. And I think that we are talking about the same thing. that we do want to see more. We like what we're seeing. We agree that we should see more. And I'm just saying I wish we could cast the net wider, because right now there's a beautiful deathmatch boom at several companies. And there's a lot of matchups there I don't want GCW library to miss out on.
I agree with you when you made the point of like, yeah, all that best deathmatch wrestling should be happening under our roof and not somewhere else. I 1000% agree with that. And yeah, like I said, I think I'll be touching on it more later when it comes up here. But like I said, if you would ask yesterday or before let's say Tuesday, if you would have asked before Sunday or Saturday, even I would have been right there with you. Kind of hope for the future.
All right, so I can go ahead and slip us right in here to GCW's bad one. And this was coming from good old Detroit, Michigan at Harpo's Theater. All right, so what I put in here was there were 11 matches on this card with an average match time of almost 11 minutes each. Oddly, both shows this weekend each totaled roughly 118 minutes of match time. The show opened with video package of previous weekend's action from GCW's Live Fast, Die Young. And for being an all-black venue on screen, the place is very exciting when people start to get loud there. We've learned from the interviews on our shows that this is a favorite venue of many of the wrestlers. And I just wanted to say the smoke is in the air, and Emma welcomes us to the show. And I just wrote here, I love Harpo's also.
See, this is a venue I always bitch about. They get like 8 shows a year and Vegas gets 1. I'm like, God damn, like, how does Harpo's get all the damn shows? But I will have to admit, I think because Harpo's allows, as we saw on this night, the death matches and the glass and stuff, I think I'm all for them going to Harpo's that many times. Any place they could go to get the death matches, I'm all for them going to those states a little bit more often, just so that way we can get a little bit more death match that we kind of grew up accustomed, not grew up, but came to accustom in GCW coming up as new fans watching the product. So at first, all my bitching used to hate Harpo's, and now I do have to silently admit that it is one of my favorite venues as well now.
It grows on you like a fungus.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right, our first match of the evening was probably one I was looking forward to the most. I was actually shocked to open up with this match: Alec Price versus Arez.
Oh, wow, what an interesting opening on this one. Alec Price comes out, the one-man hype machine, in full gear. He is what I think is a perfect example of an excellent opening vibe. Alec climbs the ropes. I'm noticing right off the bat the ropes are loose. Did you see that one, Brant?
Yeah, I noticed it right away too, and then I'm kind of glad Emma later on made a comment of, hey, like, yeah, when I was in there, I noticed those ropes are kind of loose too. So like he kind of like was able to provide his perspective of what he was able, like what a ring announcer could kind of notice and see before a match. So him being able to say that on commentary and kind of add credence to some of the missed or not as clean spots as we normally see from these competitors, it gave a good reason of why it maybe not have been as crisp as we all expected, I think.
And I was going to mention that too.
One, yep.
Yeah, Gringo went on and he's like, listen, I've mentioned it before. I mean, I'm paraphrasing. I've mentioned it before. Is it possible we can get those ropes taken care of? And just as Brant said here, I mean, it's just going to compromise the performance. And we definitely don't want that because bodies are on the line. Arez comes out in a beautiful purple mask. He brought the heat to Alex, is a good way to put it. GCW chants ring out amongst the crowd before minute 7 in match 1. Watching this, and I'm hoping Alex stays healthy for when Cole comes back. Fingers crossed that that's what happens here when Cole comes back, is it goes to the tag team instead of just a singles Cole Radrick.
I'm going to go the opposite there. I hope he stays healthy so that way when Cole does come back, he could turn on Cole and start a big old blood feud and cost him the brass ring. And then you got 2 young up-and-comers battling in a prominent spot with the story here. That's what I kind of ultimately want to see happen with this brass ring at this time. Who knows in a couple months of what the scene looks like and everything else. But at the current time, I don't see kind of Cole, unless he does it, like if he doesn't go after the world title, if he uses it for the Extreme or Ultraviolet, I think that would be pretty cool and show the value and worth of those belts to the talent. But I kind of want him to hold on to it and maybe try to cash it in, and then Alec Price play the jealous person of like to play the Marty Jannetty of this tag team. Like I'm not saying it that way, but like because he doesn't have the brass ring, he could be the jealous one that causes friction and causes a feud. And I think he plays a way better heel with Cole being a giant face and losing like his best friend and tag partner. I think they got a gold story there that could help elevate one of those two to the title scenes after they feud. And that's kind of where I'm hoping for when you mention that.
So what I'm thinking is Colin and Alec come back together. He cashes in for the tag team. They have the tag team belts. Alec fucks over Cole. They lose the belts. That starts the feud. Which could be both ways would be cool. Who knows? One of us may be right. You never know.
Because wasn't Alec Price in that tag match or in that match as well for the brass ring back at the Collective, if I'm not mistaken? And like they both had a chance like to kind of win it. That could kind of be like, hey, that's him. It's kind of like that could have been my title shot. This could have been me. And it was like it's just a perfect feud and built-in story with all that stuff. I'm really hoping they do turn that into something big. And as we were talking about with the losses earlier, that's what's kind of got me down on Cole being the brass ring holder, because you're not building up any momentum. So if you're not going to build up momentum with some wins and just give them losses, I would like to at least turn that into a feud and make these losses like mean something, but not hurt Cole, because it's part of the whole story that's kind of going on, where some of these matches they just lost and then boom, they're out of the title scene or out of the picture for a while. And it doesn't feel like they have any hope of going for a title at this time.
I'm going to say something a little unpopular possibly too here. I actually like Arez in small doses. I feel like it keeps his moveset fresh. I don't want to know the formula to what I feel is one of the most unique movesets in the game today. Again, that's kind of almost unpopular only because he dazzles every time he's in the ring. It's just, I really watch a lot now and I'm like, damn, I don't want to know everything, because that element of mystery of what is he possibly going to do next was what made him so appealing. So Rose says, hey, yo, here we are, another beautiful day. RS was in control 70% of the match. Alec was the first victim to the loose ropes. His recovery was instant and received a pop from the crowd. I feel some GCW performers have learned the lesson of the bounce back from a quick slip. And I'm just going to say it right here. I'm happy that the "you fucked up" chants are gone. It's been a while, but it finally permeated the community that had to stop.
I'm right there with you, man. I hated those chants whenever I heard those. Like, if you got it on the microphone, okay, whatever. But like when you're out there doing these moves, like that's some hard shit. Like I will never say you fucked up there. It's like, hey, I'm just glad you tried to do some cool shit for my entertainment.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Right there. Drown out that negativity. Don't need it. Yeah, there's so much work involved for the performers, and like I've said 100 times, I can walk up the steps and miss a step and fuck myself up. So Lord forbid I get on the ropes. And you know, it is a lot harder than you think. No lie. These performers make it look easy, like, you know, it makes it look like there's a shelf there. No, man, they're just ropes. Alec was selling his ass off. I did want to mention his ragdolling at times made everything look way more impactful. Our winner here was Alec Price with a spinning 720 DDT, his newest finisher. I put here that they work surprisingly well together and would like to see them go at it again. Both got an ovation on the way out. Any thoughts on all that?
Yeah, I wrote what an opening match. This match could main event any other show that but they put on a main event performance in the opening match that was going to be hard to beat. I think they kind of use that as a time to say follow that to some of the wrestlers. They both did a great job. I agree with you. I think Alex's Price selling helped a lot during this match. That was a good call by you. I didn't have that in my notes, but that was a good call. I think right when you said that, I noticed like, yes, he added more. It seemed like Arez's moves had a lot more impact than what was actually really happening, but that's a good job in him. And then just like earlier, I was happy that when MLJ made a mention about the ropes, but I think he also made a good call later on, calling both wrestlers' movesets unique, and how he was saying he was looking forward to it. I was right there with him. This match was awesome. I agree with you again, John. I hope they could have many more matches than run it back. They just have two cool movesets, two cool dynamic characters, and they both headed off and set the tone, I think, for the night in this one.
I'll just put this up right here from Great One. I love you fucked up chance when a heel gets comeuppance, but not when someone makes a mistake. I think that's a great point. Great One always has that edge that I don't always think of, and I'm like, he also said, I want to see Alec Price hit the DDT finish in the double ring setup at the War Games next month. I'm just looking flat out to War Games. If he hits that, which, let's be honest, he's going to. God, it's going to look so good. Reed Cooper, replace it with the "you got fucked, congrats" chance. And of course, he backs up with, "I'm too high." Yeah, I think that's everything I needed to say about that. Hell of an opener, 10-minute match. That was GCW style there.
Yes, for sure. All right, next matchup was a tag team match, as it was for the tag team titles, as the champions Violence is Forever defends the belt against the Pillars, Malcolm Monroe III and Tommy Vendetta.
All right, this is the time you're going to hear me say a lot of good things about Violence is Forever, because they were we'll just talk about it, because people know I'm a little rough on them. I feel like we needed more personality from them. I feel like we needed more they needed more of a cockiness and a show that they were badasses. But you know what? I'll just tell you right now. Yeah, man. I'm back to, yep, I'm piss jar John. That's how it works right there. Rest in peace, buddy. Credit to Violence is Forever for coming out with more enthusiasm than usual. Koo is fired up. Stop it. You're going to make me laugh.
That was a good one. Fired piss up. Glass or piss whatever you said. It's in a joke. I like
piss
that.
Glass, John.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, Koo's fired up and Dominic has his badass demeanor, but has a quiet smile at times. He's radiating like he's happy to come there and just beat ass. He looks confident, and it's better than the usual rounded forward-leaning shoulders. I would love to see them have the confidence that's Road Warriors like. Confidence in who they are, in their skills, knowing they're going to kill whoever comes through those ropes. Koo's animated arm and body movements throughout the match fits, and it gives him more of a personality, which I think, again, fits GCW style better than their previous performances. Violence is Forever were brutal on the Pillars, garnering them boos from the most pro-Pillars Detroit fan base. The Pillars were heavily over here. MM3 and Vendetta, I feel, had a fantastic night. MM3 jumps on Tommy's back, and the Pillars hit a nasty backpack cannonball. And our winners here, Violence is Forever with Chasing the Dragon on MM3. This was a really good match, and I want to be able to be open enough to say, man, Violence is Forever, I saw a lot more of what I wanted to see from them, which was just more personality, maybe a little happy to be there, but also a little more cocky and violent. And I think that's what Violence is Forever is supposed to be about. So it looks like they took themselves and turned it up a little, and it worked.
Yeah, I agree. I think they have like the silent kind of the silent killer kind of vibe. Like, yeah, they're gonna show their violence by doing it in the ring and not talking it. So I kind of do like the silence, but I get what you're saying, and I do agree too. Like, seeing more personality, obviously with wrestlers, you got to turn it up and stuff, and that's gonna just help your character and help the fans get more behind you, other than just your in-ring work. So I was happy to see that as well. I wrote down here, I wouldn't mind seeing a title change in this one. I've always enjoyed having the Pillars in GCW whenever they are here. I was hoping to see them a little bit more in GCW around that time, but now I'm getting that wish. They always deliver. And they, just as well as Violence is Forever, just fit against kind of any tag team and any style. Like this one, I was kind of like wondering if it would get extreme with some glass or some tables and a bunch of other stuff, because that's what kind of the Pillars are, and Violence is Forever has shown that they can go down that road when they need to. This was another successful defense for Violence is Forever, but I'm all for the Pillars even being tag team champ. I'm kind of right here.
Really?
I'm right here. I've kind of had enough. This is not I know I kind of said this last time. I've had enough of Violence is Forever kind of as a tag champs.
We flipped. You were the biggest fan of Violence, and you're like, okay, I've seen it. And I'm the one that's, yes, we're both fans. We're just saying utilization right now is a little off from where we'd appreciate it to be. And that's personal opinion.
And I think it's a little bit too little too late right now with showing the personalities and everything to keep the belt. I think that's something that if they were kind of keep on doing a little bit more, like I said, and this kind of goes back with like the stories they've just been defending against people. Like I think the talent level is so deep in every single title scene where I don't understand why there is. I mean, I do understand why there's, but like, to me, that's still like, if just with a little bit better planning and hopefully everything falls into place, think every title scene should have a story right now, especially for the titles. Or if not just that, they have enough talent to sit there and put up who's going to be the #1 title defender or the title contenders for the belts, and create stories that way and get fans invested in these new teams and possibly new champions. That way, when they are champions, we are behind them instead of just kind of getting the surprise pop-up victory against one of these random teams that they're wrestling against. Like, I don't know. I love Violence is Forever, but I'm kind of right there. I've had enough with them as tag titles. I would like to see almost anybody at this point get the tag titles and kind of just start fresh, start it anew. We were kind of talking about how it was kind of cool, and great one brought up too. We got Dominic Guarini on commentary, but when we were kind of talking, I don't know if I ever said this out loud or if this was just something in my head, but when we talked about these tag titles, I always just envision of, hey, put Violence is Forever on commentary throughout the whole tournament. Let them talk their shit while the wrestlers are getting involved. Let them start building feuds during the tournament to possibly move right into something important when they do lose titles. But also you got them like watching their competition in this tag title scene. And I know Brett says we don't need one. We don't need one right now. But man, it just feels like a nice hard reset button. And I hate to say it because I am such big fans of Violence is Forever, but I just feel because of, unfortunately, once again, I hate going to booking too every time. I hate blaming what's going on there because it always seems like that. But I just feel like there's been nothing to get me excited for this title run that they've had other than they're facing just the same challenges that they would be facing without the titles if they were not champions in GCW. So I just kind of want more substance behind these titles, some stories, get more invested in it. And I just think they have a lot of chances to do that throughout a lot of these different title scenes coming up here.
You're on fire tonight. That was awesome. Seriously, that was a wonderfully complete statement right there. You were talking about a tournament. Yeah. Can't just be a loss for loss sake. They're going to have a lot of competitors they have experience with. You're right there. And you're a huge fan.
I agree right here, though. Like, that's what I'm saying. They got to lose the belts like kind of a big way, not just like a random Tuesday with no buildup. Like, just as stories and titles, like, it's easy to, I don't know, get fans invested. And if you already kind of have a plan instead of just putting on cool matches and just, oh, let's make you the champion and we're going to roll with you for these next couple months. Like, let's start building and investing into stories, because we saw just how Effie and Mance carried a whole summer with just one story. Just imagine now the ultra-violent scene has a story. The tag titles got new champions and new stories. The Extreme Belt comes back. Like, if we get all these chips in our place and GCW's back at full force, a lot of cool shit could happen. And that's what I'm kind of still being patient and hoping for.
I also want to say for Violence is Forever, when you're 319 days into your reign and you're 24-0, get cocky. It's perfectly fine. Turn that up. We love attitude at GCW. The fans love that shit. Bring it, because it just adds to who you are. So if you're going to bring it, you better fucking bring it, because you're hearing from people who are non-fans and fans right now about your run. The Pillars, sorry, bud. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go.
I would be changing subjects, so I'm going to leave you to.
Well, I was going to say, it just kind of feels like it's not important to them. Like, as you said, like, yeah, be the cocky, like, hey, put those belts in the air, put your foot on them after you hit the Chasing the Dragon, and like, make a statement, like, pretend, like, make me visualize that these titles are important to you, instead of you guys just say, hey, we got the titles, we're most important, we're the best tag team, this proves it, our job's done. Like, go out there and make a statement, make a point, and prove to everybody that you guys are the tag titles or champions, and these tag titles mean something to you guys. And for me, that's where it's kind of fallen flat. Like, I just go back to the LA show, their body language was just atrocious going into the match, and I thought that was the night they could have lost the belt. So I don't know, maybe they do, maybe they know something we don't, but I agree. It just feels like it doesn't feel important with them as the champions right now, as I feel it should be.
And that, again, is coming from a big fan. So, I mean, that says a lot right there. But again, these are expectations, and somewhere between that and what happens in the middle is going to be where we land. I just wanted to make a note of this because I'm a big fan of this. The Pillars, they're very self-aware of who they are and what they offer to the Detroit audience. And you could see throughout the whole match that they were giving exactly that to the fans. I've said this about the Stoner Bros before too, because I really like watching this when it comes to tag teams. They're cohesive, but it's more fun when they're cohesive to their area, like LA and whatnot. And yeah, the Stoner Bros, I just brought them up as just I brought them up as just an example of two gentlemen that you wouldn't be like, oh, hey, what, them? No, they know exactly who they are. They know exactly what they're giving you. They know exactly how each other are going to think and move. It's wonderful. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there before we moved on and give them their credit for it, because it takes a lot of hard work to put that cohesiveness together.
Yeah, I love the Pillars. I'm so glad they're in GCW, even when we get them just kind of in that Detroit area. But I would love them to be traveling, because I think later on, as we were kind of talking about the deathmatch stuff, those two could fit right in and
Vendetta
cool
for
stuff.
sure.
Exactly. I think they kind of got like the Macizos versatility, where wherever you put them in, they're going to deliver. And that makes what makes me so excited seeing them on GCW, and hopefully we get them a little bit more coming across in the future.
A Big Chump says Violence is Forever is easy to get behind. From the moment they cross the threshold, they can grab people. They need to understand that they have it. Time to flaunt it. I know we're just going back for a minute here. I think A Big Chump is kind of saying a lot of what you said there and a little bit of what I said. Like, it's time to get confident in what you're doing, because we need to see it. The fans need to see it.
For me, it feels like as soon as Zombie ends, that kind of like the end of the cheering and everything for Violence is Forever, like their momentum kind of ends as soon as that song ends. And I hate that just because they are so talented in the ring, but I'm just right there with you. I want to see just a little bit more to show, like, it's like the confidence, kind of what Big Trump is saying, and that's something that we see and I talk about all the time. Like, you could just see the confidence there. Maybe they are still kind of have a not imposter syndrome, but like maybe they feel like maybe they shouldn't be the tag titles champions for long. Maybe they kind of feel that way, and maybe are kind of coming from some or trying to perform somewhere that is different than what I'm thinking of where they're coming from as a performer. But they definitely have it as a tag team, and as Big Chump said, like they have it. They just need to be able to harness it and use it at all times whenever they need to.
Confidence.
Not just whenever. Yeah.
Confidence. I mean, personally and professionally on stage, exude confidence, because when it was shown this past weekend, it really did make a difference in the performance, and it was a lot more enjoyable to watch. No kidding. I'm going to put this up real quick because we love Wrestle Dads. Good to see you, man. Can either talk on the microphone. Yes, that was something that we just touched on just a moment ago, a little bit. Dominic jumped on the microphone for a while. And again, anytime a wrestler can get mic time and we get to know a little bit more about their personality, it's great. He was on there for a couple minutes and it was enjoyable to listen to. I loved it.
Mm-hmm. I liked hearing him like kind of sit there and talk a little shit about what's going on in the tag titles and show that confidence and the a-holeness that the Violence is Forever, I think, could be using a little bit more to their advantage.
All right, here. Too much talk.
Look what you started. That's what you started, man. When you bring that up there.
Larry did that. So let's do this then. We'll jump back to the Pillars for a second. They have an easygoing confidence that really blossoms from the connection that M3 and Tommy have. It's palpable from the back of the room. Absolutely right on that one. So yeah, we'll go ahead and follow Lowie's lead right there and jump away from this one. I'm ready to go into this next match. What about you, man?
All right, our next match was Maki Ito going against Kylie Ray, and great one. When you're here, I know if you're still here, man. When you sent out that tweet about the Extreme title, were you talking about this match or well, I guess it has to be this match because Maki didn't wrestle the next night. So yeah, it must have been this match.
She had a 4-way.
Oh yeah, the 4-way, the 4-way, yeah.
So maybe I know they were trying to get some use out of her, but yeah, we'll have to talk about that title being used or not used, so to speak. I honestly, Great One was saying he was talking about the 4-way, which we are going to dig into. I would have loved a Sawyer versus Maki title defense right there. So
he's on another one tonight.
Poor Larry has had a rough night so far.
He had a rough one last week, if I remember correctly. He was going off on us.
He like shaking up the tree. It's perfectly fine. All right. So yeah, Maki Ito versus Kylie Ray. Kylie, like Leo Rush, I feel is a burn bright individual where she's had to take breaks to heal up. And like Leo, I look at her as a treat. Maki out to huge applause. She has the title, but isn't defending it. This isn't an extreme match though, which I understand. You can see the wrist brace is still on her wrist. They're trying to out cute each other in the match. Moments later, standing toe to toe, like the cute game went out the window. Kylie could fill a spot on the GCW card in a more permanent manner. I love guessing which direction her character will take for the night during the match. Is she going to be face? Is she going to be heel? Big props to the guy in the I'm a ray of fucking sunshine shirt. I thought he was an absolute ray of sunshine. Our winner here, Maki Ito, with a surprise stunner 4-3. I put that the match had a few slower spots and ended at an appropriate time of 9 minutes long. What are your thoughts on this one?
So I wrote down right during the entrances, I was interested in seeing what kind of what type of match this was going to play out to. If this was going to be more comedy than actual in ring, I was kind of hoping for more in ring on this one with a little comedy, and I got exactly that. They got the comedy done and out of the way at the beginning. So I was actually happy with this match. I like both competitors. I think Maki, and once you brought up the wrist injury, I'm going to slow my brakes on what I was going to say, but I do hope she heals. I want to see her. This kind of goes. I might go on a little tangent here, so cut me off here, and I might kind of go all over the place. I'm going to try to put all. I'm going to put two separate thoughts into one here, but I want to see her. I want to see what she could do without Nick, and this kind of goes with Larry Lawi was saying. That's not Rose, right?
Larry. I always think of Go ahead.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah. I forgot about that movie that you were saying that's from. I
Home
forgot about
Alone.
that. Yes. I'm right there with you. This one says, okay, she needs to change her gimmick to no more MDK stuff. He's over it. I wrote here, I was just wondering to see if Maki can keep her momentum without Nick around for their foreseeable future, it seems like, and how she's going to be. Yeah, that's why I thought it was Rose. I just want to make sure Rose. I don't want to falsely accuse anyone. But I just wonder what's going to happen with her. Like, is she's... I think this would be a good time to get the belt off of her, have her come back as her own character now. She kind of does need to drop this thing that's carrying her now. And that it was doing a good job of carrying her without Nick at that time. I don't think it could do its course a second time around without Nick Gage. I think it is. I kind of agree with Rose. I think it is kind of run its course here, especially with no Nick Gage. I would like to see kind of maybe a total character change with her too. Be kind of like the I forgot her name on NXT, like Wendy Chu, like was always this funny, happy, sleepy gimmick and got over by being that. But now she went dark, painted her face, still kind of has like the same gimmick, but the darker version of it. I would like to see Maki, maybe since she lost her title, since she lost her identity that kind of got her over in MDK. I would love to see her flip songs, come out to like one of the Joshi songs, but kind of come out to a dark version of Maki Ito, the dark pop star, maybe the unsuccessful one that couldn't quite get over there. Then you got over the hump with some help, and now the help's gone, and like you want to fight for that love that you got from GCW fans, but you realize it's kind of gone right now without MDK. I think that would be kind of good for her right now, and show a different character than what we've seen for the last 2-3 years from her. And like I said, I just think this is a good time to reset it, and then you could reset the stuff with the Extreme Belt, do everything we've been saying with the Ultraviolet. You could throw in the same people, the same everything that we said there for the Extreme Belt, and then now you got a fresh new belt, fresh new faces, fresh new feuds. You got a fresh new Maki with new now instead of facing. Well, I guess Kylie Ray can go back and forth with heels, but it seems like she's been facing a bunch of heels as of late. Wrestlers, it could be nice to now see her wrestling against the faces and kind of seeing what she does being on the other side. That's just where I kind of was going throughout this match, but I'm kind of glad somebody else picked up on it. I want to see what she does without Nick Gage for right now.
The gimmick works. I mean, the character works. But what you're saying is the character's kind of run its course for right now, especially with the other partner gone at this point. The Japanese is kind of cheese a little bit. It's a little cheesy. I could see where it could work here and there, but I mean, she's coming out, she's limp syncing, and then when the microphone actually does work, it's super loud because, and yeah, I
I
feel
think they can
like
play
the
off of it.
MDK thing saved her career over here at GCW because I think she was falling a little flat. And I think the belt's on her, the Extreme belt, to keep her image up at a certain level. The only issue with that is the fans are missing out on title defenses.
I still feel like something happened during that match, man. Like I don't feel like she was supposed to win that match in AC to win the title, or not? Was it AC? Or was it no collective? Whatever she wanted during that scramble match or whatever the craziness was, I feel like if I remember something that kind of went wrong and it did feel very much feel like she wasn't supposed to win, but it's kind of like an audible and they've just kind of gone with it. But now to me, it kind of makes it clear, like, hey, you ran the audible and you don't even know what to do with that audible anymore. Her injury doesn't help. Her going back to Japan doesn't help. I get it. It was AC. Okay. That's why I just this is the stupid venues. That's the venues in me.
Yeah.
Like I just like, wait, that was like terminal. What? That wasn't even terminal. I think it was like the last showboat. It might have been the last showboat. No, show has been a while.
You're on fire tonight. I love this.
I'm sorry.
I love it.
I'm right here with Rose though. Like I'm the same way. I just love GCW right now, and I just see an end game of Hammerstein 2. All the cool stuff that we're getting right now and all this cool stuff that can be done. I just think they need to tweak stuff here, tweak stuff there. And they got their product back to as hot as it was with Cardona and Gage. And I'm right there. Like, I love it so much. You just take that step, take that chance and go to the next step and turn this into the GCW that was rocking everyone's waves back in the day.
Let's talk about that. Maki and Kylie work very well together. Tag team would be glorious. Reed Cooper comes up with Maki, Death, Kylie. GCW goes extreme.
Maki does Kylie. That's you totally misread that.
Well, that sounds well. Maki does.
Okay, maybe you tried cleaning it up, and maybe I was the one that Captain Obvious here.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened right there because it didn't sound all that hot at the beginning, but I felt like he was trying to say Maki.
Yeah, Kylie. That's what. Like,
otherwise, yeah, it sounds a little weird. Yeah, Kylie can snag the belt. She deserves it, honestly. Maki's capable of getting it back, but what are we without changing? So
I think that's where I'm at. I just think there's way more deserving people that could be holding these titles and carrying these titles, representing your company, that make it way better fit and are more active right now.
I would have given the title over to Sawyer or whoever it is. Maki goes home. Maki comes back, wins the title a second time. That's better than just holding on to a dormant title that no one can see. The title's getting defended. Maki's getting a second title run. Everyone's happy. Sawyer gets a run. You know what I mean? Like everybody's getting their dues.
Yep. I don't mind flip-flops on like non-world titles. And it's freaking independent wrestling, man. Like keep the fans like at these shows, keep us on our toes. Oh my God, we got a new title holders and champions change. Like that's so excited as a fan going there. And it just some of these matches
right there. This is what I was saying.
Exactly.
If it's a win,
I was gonna go there too. I kind of had that in my notes. That's why what did you get here? Great one, just because like I don't know. Like I could see if she was defending it week after week after week, and then hey, we're putting on I'm going to take a break on this one. This one's not going to be for the title, but if you win, I'll defend. Now you're the title holder. Like those eliminator kind of matches. Like I'm for flip flops. Like in independent wrestling, keep us on our toes. It's fun. If it's the extreme ultra violent tag titles, who cares? But the world title, yeah, I do want to make that a little bit more important. Even that though, I was calling for flip-flop for these last couple months after homecoming. Like, give Tony the belt, give Gringo the belt, like give all the regulars the belt. But yeah, I agree right there. Why Maki wasn't Gringo.
If we had a lucha
belt, extreme for me.
You know, yeah. That's another one. He's we're going to talk about that Man Like DeReese match with him next. But there's another one where I've been saying like these GCW originals or regulars, as we can call them, need to constantly be in the title picture somewhere. Gringo Loco, like I said, has fucked moves midair. I've seen him do some things that have kept guys' asses off the gurney, out of the hospital. You know what I mean? Or at least not sore for the next 2 weeks from a hip injury or whatnot. So yeah, he's another one. Like I said before, when he was more active here, I would have liked to have seen Speedball Mike Bailey, but a lot of the originals, people are ready to pop for Effie when it's time. But Mance is doing such a good job right now. It's perfectly fine to let him burn in the spotlight. That's why I had asked on Twitter earlier today, should Mance be holding 2 belts? With the style that he has, he could damn near do UV also, which would just make him more dominant. Does he need it? Is the question, and the answer is no.
Yeah, so, I don't like double title holders ever, period, anyway. Like, that's just saying, like, hey, whoever was doing all this work, you're not, what was that?
Overkill? Like, if someone else could do the job, they would be there doing it. Yeah.
I just think, why not do that? Like, it just like kind of like shits on all those other people and make, like, we're not strong enough. Okay. We're like, I hated when AEW did that with the tag titles, like put them on these big names and they weren't even tag teams. Like, that was just a slap in the face to everyone who's been working their ass off to get to that point. I get it at points.
If we had a lucha title, holy shit, would Gringo be running that motherfucking division on 100 different levels?
Yeah.
So, who knows? Yeah. NC Great One said there, Mance having the UV title would just water down his world title run. And that's very fair. I don't know.
I just want my extreme champion to be able to do something extreme.
Defend the title also is fair. Like I said, I don't know if she's 766 days holding off the title, defending twice a year good. You know, and if I go back to the actual 1 year mark from August to whenever, I think she's defended 6-7 times, maybe.
I don't even think it was that much. I think it was like twice going into collective or something like that. It wasn't much at all. Because I remember bitching about that before we even started Game Changer Weekly. It's like, okay, she's a champion. What are we doing this last month? And then we found out she was overseas. Like, okay, that made sense. But I'm with you though. Like, you just make a title or 2 titles in our case dormant. Like, that's why I'm saying, hit a reset button, get these titles fresh, faces, feuds, make everyone have a purpose on what they're doing instead of just doing a bunch of cool stuff. You can still do all the cool stuff while having a purpose on what your ultimate goal is with your titles and your company. And hopefully we'll get that soon.
GCW Ultraviolent Championship. Our first one was Alex Colon, 105 days. He had defended 4 matches. He had 4 matches. Drew Parker was number 2. He had it for 93 days, defended it 3 times. Masashi Takeda was number 3. Only 19 days. He defended the fucker 3 times at the Nick Gage Invitational. Alex Colon was number 4 at 138 days. He defended it 5 times. Very short run there. Not long at all, actually. John Wayne Murdoch was the next one. He was number 5, 66 days, defended 4 times. This is 3-peat right here. Alex Colon, he had the title, defended it 3 times, gave it up, 69 days, and then 767 from Rena. And she has, since, let's just say this day last year, 9/17, she's defended a total of 8 times.
No.
So this year she's defended 8 times. She defended against Jimmy Lloyd, Lou Nixon, Takayuki Ueke, Ueki, Masha Slamovich, Daisuke Masuaka, Lou Dark Shaitan, John Wayne Murdoch, and Billy Dixon. And another one we need to try to pick up, Lou Dark Shaitan. I've said it since we started this thing. Absolute killer in a deathmatch ring. And I think GCW fans really love her a lot. So, yeah, I don't know if that's 760. Now it's 767 because the timer's from Germany, but for on Cage Match. But that's I think all the fans are saying the same thing. Maybe, just maybe, we need to stop romanticizing the fact that just being from Japan is special.
I liked Rena. I thought she was definitely,
she's Rena when she
got it.
When she got it, yeah.
She definitely earned it. Definitely was there, but then
worked her ass off.
When she
defended it.
When she was defending it is where I was going. Like, that was fun. But then it kind of just goes away, and then it just does feel like, hey, we need something new. We want that belt back in our company.
Yeah, because otherwise it's just sitting around doing nothing. And like I said before, if that's the point, just go ahead and let us know. But those 2 titles, even if we just have the 1 UV title and we keep the Extreme title because it looks cute, I think it's perfectly fine to... Man, can we just have that motherfucker home? Because otherwise it may have well just sat on a fucking shelf. Now we've got a title holder for 760 some days. Chances are we'll never have anyone beat that record. And that record would be impressive if it was an active record. It just seems like, well, you know, when we can get over here. My idea again was to have Mander take the title in fucking Japan, bring it home. We have a little not a cat fight, but a couples fight back and forth because Sawyer wants it and Manders has it and blah, blah, blah. Eventually go ahead and have Sawyer take the Extreme title. Everyone would pop. She deserves it. Or the UV title, whichever. Give her something, because there are people there like Murdoch and her that are day in, day out, working their ass off, have been bleeding, have been taking those shitty showers that night. And I think those are the ones that we should be hanging a medallion around their necks and saying, we are proud of them. Look at these folks. These are the ones that we feel represents the championship in this company. And if the championship deserves to just sit on a shelf in Japan and be defended twice this entire year, then that's telling the fans something. But the fans are throwing down their gauntlets and saying, look, man, can we have that fucking belt back? It isn't cute. It isn't fun. If you can't show up and you can't do the job, pass it along to someone else who can. Flat out. It's just like that at any job. Either show the fuck up or move it along to someone who can show the fuck up, because there are people that are showing up and busting their ass. And I think they deserve the credit. And again, it's just a thing. It's just a gimmick. It's for the fans mostly. But you know what? Let the fans see that you value those people more by giving them the belt. I think it's fair. Again, it's just a belt, but you know what? It's a belt.
It's not fair to like people like John Wayne and people that have been busting their ass, and like their main goal that they're busting their ass for is gone and not being used. And like, what are they busting and working their ass for when their piece of cheese is gone and not anywhere near able to grasp? So I kind of agree. I kind of enjoyed that.
GCW. Megan Bayne would be a JCW title win.
Yeah.
If they wanted to push her a year from now or less. I
kind of enjoyed having the Extreme title back in a junkyard in the back of Joey Janela's trunk. We talked about that a little bit more than Maki's run, unfortunately, as of late. So,
and Cole defended the shit out of that belt.
And a bunch of different matches too. Yep,
man.
I really enjoyed what AJ Gray was doing with that title. AJ Gray was like, I think, one of the last, and Cole Radrick too, defending it almost every show, but in different styles of matchups and different like multi-person matches too. Like he was really good. Cole Radrick was as in Extreme title.
Yeah, I just feel like right now GCW is in love with a girlfriend who they talk about but never comes over to date them.
Yeah.
And everybody in the family's like, where's this girl at? Where's this girl? Well, she's coming. She'll be coming one day. Fans just want to see some fucking death matches and blood, and that's how it goes. Frank, remember when we had an interesting title scene and didn't involve Cardona near the WHC? I remember. Nice to see you tonight, Frank. God, we got a good chat rolling here tonight.
I'm about to say, we're an hour in. We're not even halfway done with the show
okay.
yet.
Let's get rolling on the next one, brother.
All right. Our next match is Gringo Loco versus a returning man like Darius.
So I put here that Gringo coming out first was a surprise. But Darius does his entrance with music, so I figured that was maybe why they'd flipped him there. I really do wish I could understand him when he's rapping, because I'd like to join in kind of thing. It's like when AJ Gray used to come out, I'd like to, sing the song, and it just don't happen like that. But I would like to learn his music, because I feel like it would be fun as fuck to be like the only guy in the American crowd that can rattle off everything he's saying on there.
I ain't gonna lie. I was listening to it driving to Arizona before like the first Arizona show, and I was trying to learn the words to it. There's no way I can't.
Well, I was thinking like, because I'm front row, when he comes by with the microphone, I was just gonna sit there and try to tear it up with him, but wasn't gonna happen that easily. So before the match, Gringo asked who's here to see Gringo Loco, and the chants just ring out. Darius is on the top ropes and on the turnbuckle, firing up the crowd. Fans were chanting back and forth, Gringo Loco 0121. This match had, they created right there some palpable emotional attachment, and the bell hadn't even rang yet. The rope situation was prominent in this match for both men. It didn't stop either. It just made their work a lot harder to do the same thing they'd normally do. I'm seeing some more depth to Darius's character. I wish we could put him in a storyline. The emotions he can show on his face are worthy of a storyline investment. Look at what he did with Viva Van. Also, Dries can heal. If you've ever seen some of his other work there, man, he's got one of those, I don't know. He's just so expressive. He can make people hate him just as much as they make people love him. People that can do that on one side seem to always be able to do it on the other. Our winner here after almost an 11-minute match was Gringo Loco with a textbook pile driver for the win. There was a move before that. I forgot to write it down. So it was boom. And then we're talking again, a textbook pile driver for the win. It's just so damn rare. I put in my aftermatch notes here that these two need to run it back with a fully functional ring. Both head to the back together, getting along like two MMA fighters after their match. And again, like we just said, Gringo did express he was not very happy because, again, this is his body on the line out there and others' bodies who trust him. So even two of us who barely know anything can look at those ropes and go, these are way too. And at some point, someone didn't come out during one of the intermissions and try to tighten them, which was also a hell of a surprise.
I'm surprised I wasn't done after that first match. After Emil said something on commentary out loud to everybody, I thought that for sure that was the sign of, hey, we're gonna take like a 2-minute break and get these ropes tightened up here.
Well, I don't think they'll. I'm guessing some of these wrestlers may never go along with these shows until they check it ahead of time. And if Harpo's is going to be one of those places where notoriously Horror Slam or whoever it is in Detroit that's running that they need to get those things tightened beforehand. And I think they're going to have that addressed the next time they're in Detroit. It only makes sense. If you have leaky pipes and it's always in Detroit, grab a wrench when you go to Detroit. Pretty simple.
Yeah. I wrote kind of what you kind of at the beginning. I loved how hot the crowd was for both competitors. I'm always happy to see man like Dries back in GCW, and I was happy that he got a spotlight singles match as he kind of has been getting as of late. But this one was a pretty big one with Gringo Loco in a one-on-one match. I enjoyed how they both had purple in their gear. They kind of did like have kind of symmetry there in the ring with their gear. I enjoyed that. I love also the new glasses. I think these are new, maybe not, but I just now noticed these glasses like man like Dries with the words flying on. I like that part of his gear. He just always stays futuristic. I love his look. I love how he's adapting and changing it and making it better and always improving it. So I could definitely appreciate that. And I thought this was a high quality match. And either way, I was happy with whoever won, and this match delivered. And I will agree with Rose here. I think man like Dries and the next night Masha absolutely tore the house down, and they got later on. I'll talk about their chemistry. Those two are really, really good together in the ring.
Mm-hmm. And justice for my boy Gringo. Give that man a title one day.
Yes. All right. Our fifth match was Megan Bayne versus Brooke Havoc.
All righty here. Both came out to different reactions in a good way. People stare at the spectacle and aura that Bayne gives off. The gear with the headdress is alpha as fuck. Brooke is a completely different vibe. Everyone cheers for a very happy Brooke Havoc, who is running around the ring, high-fiving everyone, completely different than what Mega was doing. I feel like she gives off 80s glow vibes. I feel like her attitude and look would have garnered her attention over there 35 years ago. I also see a younger and smaller Jordan Grace. If she continues to work on her body, her physique, muscular wise, is fantastic. And it's obvious that she takes care of herself very well and she's proud of it. It's interesting that Brooke turned the face heel dynamic on its head when she threw her shirt at Bayne before the match even started. Then the bell rang and she flexed at her. She was trying to show that she wasn't intimidated. So I did like that aspect of it. I assumed Bayne would be the heel doing all the flexing on her opponent. And here, Brooke turned it on its head. Accidents happen and the feed gets cut from the venue for 3 minutes. Triller TV shows a screen waiting for the signal to reestablish. This created a small amount of time on the replay that should have been cut out in the final cut. No big deal, but important years from now to fans who will go back and, watch the catalog. Signal comes from the back and fans are saying, let's go Brooke, as she tries to find ways to outsmart a stronger opponent. There's an impressive pump handle slam by a much smaller Brooke. She also countered Bayne's F5 into a DDT midair. Bayne was in control about 70% of the time, which made Brooke's offense even sweeter when she gets in those shots. We had GCW chants coming in from the fans almost at the end of the match here. There was laughing at the cam following the back and forth chops. I thought it was funny that we had the WWE style left and then right. And then the women were exchanging German suplexes. Bain had a spear on Havoc into an F5 for the win. So our winner here was Megan Bain. Megan Bain's singles record now sits at 10-3. Yeah, my thought is the JCW title as a starter, like as a taster for a championship to see how she handles it, assuming we have her around here for that long. I don't have any news. I'm just saying she's a damn quality talent. I feel like in time someone may want to pick her up, and we'll see from there. What do you think, man? I think he's muted. You're our first mutie of the night.
It took 1 hour for that to happen. We're getting better.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Hold on, Jonathan Ash. Sorry, the full clean version match was sent to Triller. Just waiting for them. No, bro, we never sit here and say it's. Yeah, you know how it is. We just figured that eventually it'll get cut. No big deal. And thank you so much for updating us that it is not, GPW doing on their end. And by the way, good, awesome job this weekend with everything too.
I was just about to say one thing that we've been like kind of clamoring for GCW GoPro to do is kind of do the new camera angles, the new shots and everything. And I think this weekend we saw like when Evel's doing the announcements, like one of the cameras was underneath, like in between the bottom and middle rope, and was like looking up at him. And I was like, we saw a bunch of different new camera angles, I think, this weekend. And I definitely enjoyed what GoPro's trying new things, as we said, trying to do what the new stuff that AEW and WWE are doing every week. And I'm glad that they're trying to do it their way in how it would be effective for GCW. So yeah, I do want to shout out that real fast for Jonathan as well as the GoPro group. Great job again this weekend.
Yeah, before we go further, also Ash, I just want to say you guys did a hell of a job in I believe it was Rochester. You had a lot of light in some areas on the mat, and you had a lot of dark in other areas on the mat. And given the circumstances, I think you guys did a pretty damn good job. Just wanted to get that out there too.
Yep. I thought this match was a really good match. I thought it was going to be a good test for Brooke against someone the talent level of Megan Bain, and as well she's been performing as of late. Brooke is always, we haven't seen much of her, but I think she's really good and always shows improvement. So I was looking for that in this match. I was excited to see how it played out, and yeah, I was shocked too. I thought Megan was going to go kind of a little bit not too heelish, because I think she is kind of staying face in GCW for the most part, but I thought she was going to be a little bit more cocky and abrasive with the size advantage with Brooke. But I liked it. I like the Brooke spiciness and showing like she ain't gonna back down. That kind of fits her character so good. Like I think she just I don't even think that is her character. Like that she just plays herself very well, and what she's portraying in the ring and her character, the look, the music, the moveset, the attitude. She knows what she's doing. I think that's what Megan knows what she's doing as the Megasis as well. And I was happy to see that Brooke went heel here, and I thought they both played their roles very well in this match, and it was a very well put together match, and I enjoyed it, and I wouldn't mind seeing it ran back as well, and maybe even switch roles here to see how it looks the opposite way as well.
Yeah, Megan came into the company under heel, and I feel like the fans switched her face. Every time she tried to pull off some heel shit in the match, the fans, she won over the fans by the end of the match. It was a phenomenon. I remember the first 5 to, let's just say 10 matches she was here or so. She'd walk into the match the heel, and by the time she was done with the suplexes and everything else that she'd pulled off,
everybody.
Yeah, she won them over. And I felt, again, it's not her strength, it's her endurance. It's the fact that she could do this 8.5, 9 minutes in. She's basically lifting someone off the ground, putting them over her head, and all the way through. And again, there's a lot of people that don't expect a performer to do that. And she's one of those ones that she's put enough hard work in the gym. She's capable of doing that. That extra work that she put in is the extra that impresses the fans.
Definitely, for sure.
All right. So we went on to this match. I will go into this next little short statement. Do you want me to go on with that one, Brant?
Yeah, go ahead. Yep.
Okay, cool. So Miedo is introduced by Emil to resounding boos. There was no music, so you can clearly hear the boos. I'm going to say this again. It's genius. Great job by Prazak for allowing the fans' boos to come through the audio. They can think for themselves, and it's nice when we hear it. And now Mieto's going to cut a promo in another language. And again, this is huge. Mieto says, fans think I made a mistake. My mistake is not stepping away from Ciclope earlier. He should have cut him a long time ago, not waited for 15 years. And fans really didn't like that. Ciclope then came out and said that he's heard enough. Some Spanish was exchanged. If you've been around a family where English is a second language, when the Spanish starts coming out, boy, it's never a good thing. Like I said, my wife's Cuban. You know the situation. When Spanish comes out, people are mad. When they don't have time to translate, it's never good. But yeah, the Spanish is exchanged. Both are mad as fuck. Mieto said he's leaving and he quit. I don't know if that means he's leaving Los Macizos or if that's GCW. It was left like that, possibly on purpose, possibly by mistake. But I could tell you, if you build on that little sentence right there, you could do a lot with it. Play on that if you can. Blake Christian attacks from behind. The fans are heated. Perch, of course, checks on both. And we have a match. So that's how our next match happened.
Yeah, I wanted, before the match started, that promo, I loved it. I agree with you.
Yes.
Him going to cut that whole promo in English was a statement. I'm glad they've given Ciclope that opportunity to do that. I'm all for it. I thought it was brilliant as well, of not playing the music, having them come out like Ciampa back in NXT with just no music and booze. That just adds to the heat that he could get as a character. And as obviously we love the music, so if that music started playing, we'd be bouncing, and Mieto would come out and like totally ruin our mood. So I'm hoping he does kind of come out with new music and kind of fully dive into this heel work now that he is kind of established as a heel. I felt like you can feel the pain in his voice too, of like, hey, I'm mad I'm wasted 15 years of my life carrying you as a tag partner when I could have been
great
doing
acting
matches with Speedball as a singles competitor and showing the world what I could do as a one-on-one competitor and how you held me back. I loved it. One thing that pissed me off, and this kind of goes with the you fucked up chance, is the what chance after every time he was speaking it.
Yeah,
Shut the hell up.
Annoying.
You can easily hear him. That I was getting so fucking heated at that. I was just
you
like,
can easily hear him.
Just getting racist, man. Yeah, you can hear me getting upset. Just I was like, man, I hate when they do that, when you got a foreigner trying to speak another language and you're sitting there like that. I get why they're saying this, but at this point it's become disrespectful when they're trying to do something cool. So that way you can't sit there and say you didn't understand it. Now you don't understand it because you're too busy chanting what every 2 seconds. So
or
you still look like an idiot. Yeah.
Remember back in the day they'd go K?
Yeah. I love that. That one, it was funnier because it went Spanish and K. Like I'm cool with that one. But I was getting a little mad. It wasn't too bad in this Detroit crowd, I do have to admit it, but it did come off a little bit like that. And I was like, man, just let the man talk and get the story through. He's speaking clear English. I understood everything he did said. A great job. Don't be an idiot and try to be funny, haha guy, and that situation. What a great one right here. Okay, I think Mieto's quitting GCW and kayfabe while Ciclope gets some wins and goes for the world title.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Damn it. Great one. You spoiled what I'm going to say later, but I'll get to I'll continue on that point a little bit later. I kind of have something a little bit similar breakdown during this at the end of this match.
I thought it was great acting. And again, given the second language, I thought it was fantastic. He thought about everything he said ahead of time. You can tell that he took appropriate pauses. I think that also gave the fans a small moment in between speaking to react. And that can garner some serious heat also. I mean, looking outside of the ring, I do think it's wonderful that Ciclope is probably gonna fly a little bit here, and Mieto's stepping away to heal up, take care of whatever he's taken care of. Because before Mieto had gotten injured, when Ciclope and Mieto had that final run that only lasted for a couple weeks, Ciclope and they were Los Macizos were face. They were, and Ciclope obviously was like the leader when it came to who was getting the most cheers and whatnot. So I do like that this little arrangement between them is happening, because we know that when they both get in the ring together against each other, it's going to be a fantastic match. And we know that's what it's building to. So I like that, in real life, I would say, he's letting his brother breathe a little, and I like that. We know how close they are. They're not even, they're tethered to each other within 10 to 15 feet always. So I love those guys. I think they're doing a damn good job, and just going out there and throwing a promo out internationally on live TV was ballsy, and I think they hit it out of the park.
Yeah, I was happy for it. I once Ciclope got some mic time, I would have made him get some, and I'm glad they're getting mic time to further their story, and they're doing it in English, and I appreciate everything because I think later on as I kind of got big plans for them, and I think hopefully GCW has big plans for them as singles competitors as well now. All right. We will go into the match as yes, it did turn into a match. Blake Christian versus Ciclope.
All right, we have Ciclope getting that heavy sympathy. The bell rings, Ciclope chants ringing out through the crowd. He's wearing a pink Lakers LeBron James jersey, which I thought was pretty cool. Blake came out on fire, a very fast-paced offense. He's too fast for the size of the ring was what I was thinking here. And I mean that in a good way. I know someone in chat also asked about the ring. It's just a smaller ring. I mean, we go to some areas, GCW goes to some areas, and the available ring that they have at that place may be, a little bit smaller than other rings. It just depends on the territory, so to speak. Another fan is seated. He gets a Blake Christian tope onto a door held by Ciclope right beside him, and he doesn't drop his Modelo. I'll give him credit for that. Prazak said Blake made a door bridge, but it looks more like a bookshelf bridge. The boards were a little smaller. Blake sold an incredible Ciclope spine buster. Ciclope crossbody Blake through the bookshelf bridge. I always love Blake's snappy half and half. Just wanted to kind of mention that here. Just like Mance, I'm sometimes hearing single voices in the crowd voicing displeasure for Blake. You hear, fuck you, Blake, over here, and somebody'd say something here. That's old school Southern style heat right there, where people have actually been moved enough to just yell out loud, fuck you. And that's a great thing in my book. Poor Ciclope rarely had the upper hand in this match. Blake sold a destroyer that popped him a couple feet in the air. Well sold. Ciclope with a hidden blade. I felt that looked great. Our winner here, Ciclope with a great looking hidden blade, yells Viva La Raza from the top turnbuckle and hits a huge frog splash for the win. I'll just say here that Blake takes another loss. He sits on the side of the ring looking defeated physically and mentally. He looks about 2 more losses from a total breakdown. So could we see a new Blake? I say yes, and it's time that we welcome it. I took your shit, huh?
No, I was just about to say everybody took my damn notes today, but obviously that's not notes. It's very clear to see what's happening, and I'm happy that shit is happening because I kind of agree with you. I think Blake is, especially if he's not having Mercer around. It seems like they just totally dropped that, and we haven't seen Mercer in a while, which is a little bit disappointing because I think they had a lot of heat together as a tag team. But I'm going to go in 2 different spots here in this match. I got 2 big talking points tonight, and I didn't even realize that they're both in the same match. So here we go.
Sweet.
So first of all, for this match, I wrote both Macizos have shown that they are very, very valuable assets as singles competitors as much as they were together as a tag team. And especially at this point in their careers, it's cool to see them kind of be able to branch off and showcase what they can do as single competitors. I also wrote it's interesting to see what is happening with Blake and his character. So I'll go with Blake first. I'm going to stop here when I get to the Ciclope part. But with Blake here, I wrote, it seems like he's losing and losing and losing, and he's going to keep on losing to win the fans back kind of over by putting over the baby faces later, and then maybe later down the line turn baby face. I think he's doing a great job without being champion. I spoke about this last week with his match against Zilla, and I forgot who the other competitor was that he had a match with, but he's doing a very good job not as a champion, still elevating their opponents tremendously during this losing streak. And that's very cool and very not odd to see, but like he is evolving in a character that's going to lead to a change. But like right now he's elevating other people more as not the champion than he was as the champion, which is kind of supposed to be the opposite way around. But I think he's getting way better challengers and opponents now than he did as challengers for when he was a champion. But yeah, then he's tweeted out, I don't know if you saw it yesterday, the tweet of his video of kind of like the highlight package with a nice positive song and showcasing his highlights, but then in the mix getting deep and dark and kind of showing the tweets of fuck you Blake and everything else, that all the hate that he gets. So I wonder if this is, I not wonder, I think it is leading to a character change, but I would love to see him kind of lose and then start bringing back some of his move set that he did as a face big time with the aerials, like aerial maneuvers, and then start flying, making the people happy, start earning them back. And then when it comes down to like make a choice between like, let's say 2 heels or heel and a face, he kind of teases like, hey, I'm still that fucking no heart Blake. I'm going to fuck you fans over. But then also like if he is able to help the face out against the heel and like show the crowd, hey, I see what you guys see now, and kind of like show like, hey, I want you guys back on my side and I'm going to do things for you. I think that will help elevate him to a bigger, maybe even status than he was before he turned heel. And as a face and as the fans, I think they would love him a little bit more now than they did back when he was still a fan favorite. I would just like to see him kind of, as you wrote, move along and have a change right now. And as we were kind of talking about earlier, just like none of these things have to be giant, cheap, big things, but just little changes here and there and tweaks, I think could do a lot for GCW right now and some competitors as Blake right now.
I like the idea of a Blake redemption. He honestly goes through a break right in front of everyone and he goes, you know, this was successful for a while, but this just can't last. I can't keep it up. Look what it's doing to me. This isn't Blake. This is what I created and told myself was Blake. I can't be this person. This is what
the belt has turned him into a crazed animal. That's why he said it. Like he was holding on to it all those times of, hey, this is fucking mine. I'm keeping it. Like maybe that totally fucked up his mindset. And that's why, like, I would use that, as you were saying, as a way to kind of explain the character change.
Yeah, and just knowing him, I think a path to redemption would be, I think, the best way to sell it and to inject a little bit of himself into the storyline there.
All right, so can I continue with my Maciso statement real fast? This kind of goes into the death match. So I know we're an hour in and we're
doing fantastic. We're doing fantastic. You know how it is. The second show is always a little shorter because we kind of talked it out through the first one. So we're good, brother.
All right, so here's what I wrote for kind of the death match scene and what I am seeing right now, what I kind of want to see and what I'm liking. So I wrote, I would love to see the Macisos face off in the tournament with a meeting in the finals. And as someone said earlier, I do hope Rena puts the belt on every single round. And I would like to see like a new champion before the finals, like Rena lose before the finals to create this big shock, have this kind of big name now hold the UV title for one match, go into the finals. I would have, and then lose it to Ciclope or Miedo. I would have one of those. I would have Miedo. Sorry, I would have Ciclope win the belt in the finals. Have Miedo come out and be like, oh, like hey, like maybe Ciclope beats Miedo earlier in the night, and then like kind of like they tease that back together. Kind of like the Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn when Kevin Owens debuted in NXT, where hey, he came out to help Sami Zayn, and oh yeah, they're best friends, they're best buds. That we knew that was going to happen, but by the end of the night, and then I think at the end of NGI, as Ciclope wins the title and he's holding the belt up in the air, we have this feel good of Miedo. They're coming back. They might do together, and Miedo turns on Ciclope. He holds the belt up high over Ciclope, even though Ciclope is a champion. Miedo now has the belt, and he can hold it hostage, and that causes even more friction between the two. And I wrote here that that would lead to the first feud for the new UV champion and the title after Rena drops in the tournament. And I think it's a great first feud after Rena's run to reestablish the Ultraviolet Championship's importance in the future for GCW after it's been a while of questioning its importance that we've been doing as of late. Also, with this new talent with Macisos, and as we see kind of later on, we're going to talk about some of this other talent showing back up in GCW, being used as Crazy King, Sawyer Wreck, the Pillars, Dr. Redacted, the Kirks, Hoodfoot, throw in Los Macisos. We got our stalwarts, and with Rena, we put her back in the scene. You could do You got John Wayne Murdoch. We're right there. We got 10 fresh, not fresh names, maybe 2 or 3 normal names we see, but we got all these new faces now and all these new matchups. That's what I've been asking for in GCW with the death matches. I feel like it's kind of been too much John Wayne Murdoch versus Rena, John Wayne Murdoch versus Hoodfoot. Like, it's just too much of this same matchups and same repetitiveness. And I've been asking for a change in death match. And with all this new talent, I would get rid of deathmatch royalty. I'd reestablish Jimmy again as a deathmatch threat and show how deathmatch royalty held him back from the deathmatch part of deathmatch royalty, and he went for that goofy shit. I would love to see him break away and be a major factor in the ultra-violent title scene. But I think there's all that talent we see all the time, and there's more even out there than, as you said, as we travel, there's more names we could use out there. I forgot Drew Parker. Shit. The one that came out, my biggest favorite. I forgot Drew Parker in there. Oh shit! I wrote that as a note. I swear to God, I said that before. That's the second time I forgot to do Parker because I wrote that in a note. I wrote Parker. Shit, I forgot about him. And I didn't even read that before I said that just now. I just read it after I already said that. That's funny. But I would get them all going again after the UV and the Extreme titles. Like I was saying earlier, they could kind of mix and match. You got all these new names chasing after it. Give them stories. Give them time to give them the time that you gave those stories as you did the world title. Let the ultraviolet Extreme title, let the tag division, give them stories. Give us some stuff to get behind them. And then I wrote same thing with the tag titles. Do a tournament. I would treat the tag titles as a J Cup tournament. Like, it's just all in ring, no extremeness. We got the classical rules. What happened to the Acid Cup? Let's bring the Acid Cup back. Put that for the JCW
anytime.
title. Like, I just think everything is super hot again right now. All over every single show, there's just newness, and it's been awesome to see. And I think now with all these talents, you cover your big names to chase after the titles in each and every title scene, and it's all out there right now to do. And I would just like the reset, and that's kind of what I would do with NGI is have Rena defend it. I would even shock the world, have her lose in the first round to somebody. Now you got a new champion. What the fuck's going to happen this rest of the tournament? What's going to happen? Like, it throws that tournament right away into a big clusterfuck. And I think right now we need the clusterfuck to make a not literally the clusterfuck. We should have ultra violent clusterfuck. How about that?
Holy mackerel! No, do you know how dangerous that would be?
I know.
Oh my goodness!
I would just throw a wrench right into the NGI. Match 1, Rena comes out, new champion, and boom, what is going to happen this rest of the tournament? But I would make Ciclope and Miedo the faces of it right now. Hot feud, new champion. Boom, the ultra-violent scene with all these new competitors and challengers. You have a lot of fresh matchups and cool things that I would like to see in GCW, and I think other fans might as well.
Reed. Ciclope and El Miedo.
So someone gets a buy, maybe someone gets a buy. I don't know. I'm hoping this NGI just kind of fucks everything up. That's what I'm hoping for.
Well, we'll see what happens
with some of these new names. Yeah, we got Dr. Redacted announced. And I know I probably spoiled some stuff later, but we got a couple of new names announced. And like, this tournament's feeling fresh, in my opinion. And I'm more excited seeing a lot of these newer names in the tournament to kind of hopefully reestablish the ultra-violent scene back in GCW.
Dude, Redacted came out with a face full of he was just on fire when he came out. And I was just, in my mind, I was like, this is the energy we're missing from GCW. And again, we don't want to say this person. Bullshit. Schlack used to come to the ring and just fucking go bam, bam, bam. He'd come in, there would be like this intensity before the match would start. We're missing that. You know, a lot of our death matchers, they'll come to the ring with a little bit of a solid face on, but a lot of them, they're like, hey, I'm here. You know, I'm going to take some light tubes. How you doing, guys? Yeah. And I'll just put this right here. A huge campaign for Dimitri.
I see clips of him. He does look pretty good. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing a new name. And like, from the clips I've seen, I would like to see what he could do in GCW.
Yeah. Deathmatch wrestling right now is in a spot where it's like talent acquisition for GCW. Either they're going to fuck it or it's going to fuck them. And you got to figure that out. And right now we have a lot of great things going on. We need more death matchers in one way or another. I just don't know how we're going to collect these more. Yep,
I would
right
have
there.
put
Big
Dimitri
F enjoy
right on
cam.
NGI for his first exposure in GCW. I would have done like kind of what they did before with like Akira and stuff. Like have him do like one match, like way down low a couple months prior. Then hey, okay, they look good. Let's bring him back for NGI. I want to see what Dimitri could do before he steps foot in NGI, because if he comes out and kind of shits the bed, then yeah, that's a real waste of a spot for NGI. But I don't know anything about him other than like a few clips, but he does look interesting. All right. Our next match is a 6-person tag match as the team of Thrunt, One Called Manders, Dark Sheik, and Effie go against Baka Gaijin, Too Tough Tony, Brayer Wellington, and Madman Pondo.
Yeah, this is a wild 10-minute match. After the drama from the last match, the mood starts lifting up again when we hear ICP's Chicken Hunt and play. When he came out, I somehow got wicked 90s vibes, but there's a reason why, and Dave mentions it just a little. So when Violent J came out, he started wrestling in 1990. Too Tough Tony started in 96. That's 28 years ago. Brayer Wellington, 1995, 29 years ago. And Madman Pondo in 1989. That's 35 years ago. Also wanted to mention Pondo's 55 years old. Give that man a ton of credit. I also wanted to mention here, if we do this right, 2 more matches for Violent J, and that'll be his 69th match. Everyone's in good spirits. Tony's pouring drinks in everyone's mouths. Thrun is out next to Yellow Brick Road. The ring looks small with all those bodies in it. The match starts hot. Baka got the jump on Thrunt, fist fly, and we finally get the bell. Tony with the top rope corkscrew plancha to the floor. Effie wants a saw blade to the ass. Too Tough Tony and Manders start drinking and punching each other. If they were on a team, I'd call them Two Tough Rednecks. Pondo ate a shot to the face within 15 seconds, once a chair and then once with a door piece. Pondo and Tony hit a sunset bomb superplex on Manders. This is a brawl and everyone is giving their best work. Prazak was calling Wellington Richie Boy, which is one of his nicknames. Pondo, huge elbow from the top rope onto Manders through a door bridge face first. Tony pulling off a moonsault on those crazy loose ropes, lights his hand on fire and hits his own teammate Brayer on accident. Effie hits the sack rider on Brayer for 3, so our winners here were Thrunt. I just wrote down here that I didn't see as much Wellington and Sheik as I'd like. Pondo showing Effie his bloody head from that chair shot afterwards, where he's like, look, you kind of got me here, buddy. And Violent J came back to the ring and he had something to say. I'll just make it nice and short. Juggalo Championship Wrestling has officially challenged GCW Wrestling to a 2-night event at the Gathering of the Juggalos. So we're going to be looking forward to that a lot. What were your thoughts on this match?
I loved the chaos. I loved the classic weapons and fuckery that they used, and all the fun spots that they had during this match. It was a fun match and the crowd was super into it. There's always a spot on every single card for a match like this. Kind of feels like the old SGC days with all the craziness and bodies and just mayhem going everywhere. Pondo and Tony looked awesome out there. Tony's looked really good since he's been out here. That one's always a shock to me because I didn't get to know too much of his career. So it's, for me, it's very enjoyable seeing him killing it out here right now. Pondo looked amazing, and I enjoyed it. It's just, I love the chaos that they all provided, and it was just all over the ring, and it was a good kind of setup for the announcement for the collect. What was it called? The Gathering. The Gathering.
Yeah, the Gathering of the Juggalos.
Yeah. So that's gonna be interesting. I never really seen like a full one of those shows. I kind of hear about it here, but that's not kind of my thing. So that one's gonna be interesting. I'm gonna get out of my comfort zone.
You're
I'm gonna get out of my comfort
love
zone
it.
there.
Dude, Colt Cabana always shows up as a cop. Like there's a bunch of cool shit that goes on. Like he'll have dude, he's like, I'm the drug cop, and he'll come out with a flashlight and shine it in people's eyes. They'll start booing him. Dude, there's a lot of good shit. You'll love it. It fits really well with GCW style. So we'll see how that goes. But
I'll keep an open mind.
It's ICP. You might as well, right?
All right. Our next matchup is Sawyer Wreck versus Crazy King.
All right. So what I'm going to do here is go through a patented death match minute by minute. So if anybody wants to go take it easy for a moment here, this is the time to do it. So I first wanted to talk about Crazy King. He won his first match at GCW back on June 29, 2017 at DTU Epidemia Destructiva Tour Night 1 in a 5-way match against Moria, Dr. Polix Jr., Tiburon, and Marcus Crane. He lost the third night to Matt Tremont in a skewers, can, staple gun, and thumbtacks match. Night 4, he teamed with Marcus Crane and took on Dr. Polix Jr. and Matt Tremont in a light tubes, barbed wire boards, and razor board tag team match. This is Crazy King's 5th time working for GCW in the US. Sawyer has worked every GCW event since she came back from injury on August 24th, and she's been reminding everyone why she's called the matriarch of mayhem. She has become one dangerous machine since she's come back to GCW. Sawyer walks in with a huge box of tubes over her shoulder. To me, she is my future GCW ultraviolent champion. In the opening minute, Sawyer tries the test of strength. He can't reach. Crazy King just had the most difficult of times. They each grab 2 bundles and break them over their own heads. Minute 2, chair is knocked into Crazy's junk. Tubes are broken into Crazy's head. Sawyer and Crazy are exchanging holds on the mat. Minute 3, Crazy's in a tree of woe. He takes boots and light tubes to the dick. Sawyer covers for 2. Minute 4, Sawyer eats light tubes across the back. Crazy grabs a bunch of gusset plates. He smacks one directly into Sawyer's forehead. Dark, thick blood starts running down the side of her head. She stands up like it made her stronger and delivers a bunch of nasty headbutts to Crazy with the gusset plate still on. Minute 5, Sawyer is fucked up bad. She's legit leaking blood. Sawyer then hits a belly-to-back suplex for 2. She grabs about 8 light tubes. Minute 6, Crazy puts her through those tubes back first. She kicks out at 1. The bundle was elbowed into Sawyer's face. Crazy hits a seesaw pile driver onto a chair with light tubes on top of them. Minute 7, there was a lot of setup in this minute. Crazy has Sawyer on his shoulders. Fireman's carry through a bunch of tubes. She still kicks out at 2. Minute 8 until the end. Crazy lays a bunch of tubes on the mat. He's holding some of these tubes. She kicks the ones that he's holding out of his hands and into his face. There was a huge choke slam into the tubes on the mat. She covers for 3. Our winner here was Sawyer Wreck. I wrote here afterwards, Sawyer stands up absolutely full of adrenaline and bloody like she just fought and killed a bear. Fans need to see this. In my eyes, again, I see a defending UV champion. What are your thoughts on all this in this match here? Oh, you've been hit by the mute bug twice tonight, my friend.
Shit. All right. I loved it. I thought it was a bloodbath as well, but I feel like all the bloodbath came from Sawyer. Like Crazy King looked like clean at the end of the match. Like he had like the little thing from the gusset, and like that was it. But Sawyer was the one that was, as you wrote, I wrote the same words. Sawyer was the one leaking during this match. I thought this was an outstanding death match, and it's getting me hyped and ready for NGI. Like this was a fresh matchup, and Sawyer killed it. This was like one of those like kind of matches like how Cole Radrick kind of had. Like that one death match that elevated him. I think Sawyer at the end just looked like a fucking badass. Her crazed look, her energy, as you said, the adrenaline, that was like a star-making performance. And I wouldn't mind seeing her as UV title holder, at least in the scene and around the picture and around that title and fighting for it. Because I know it hasn't been that long, but yeah, if she's showing up at every show, she's coming back in like more. I think she's working more now than what she did before she got hurt, even though she was working a pretty big schedule then. But I think near the end, maybe it was because she got hurt, she started working a little bit less. But if this is the type of performances she's going to do on a consistent basis, yes, strap her up. I'm down for it. I think she could have a lot of tremendous matchups and do a lot of cool things. And she's obviously a crowd pleaser and gets everybody in the crowd is always talking about her during the matchup. So that would be a good choice for champion at the moment, especially with the role that she's been on. And after this performance, I'm in. I wouldn't mind.
I just wanted to also mention that Crazy King got a great ovation to the back from the fans. I also wanted to say that great match put on by him. Also, I felt like a lot of what I said here was Sawyer, but I don't want to overlook the fact that it takes 2 to tango, and he did a damn good job in this one. After the match, there was just a small section where they were cleaning up after the death match, and Prazak was plugging the merch from the GCW merch website, and they're showing the Abdullah the Butcher collectible cards. And he says something like, it could be mistaken for Matt Tremont, but it's not. And I lost my shit
I love that.
laughing.
I love those little
God.
things like that they do. That was a good one. I think I caught it live. I didn't make a note of it, but I think I did catch that. That was pretty funny.
Oh.
All right. So next match is another death match, as it is, as we were talking about earlier. John Wayne Murdoch going against Dr. Redacted.
Straight from the frying pan and into the fire we go with John Wayne Murdoch and Dr. Redacted. Another potential UV championship match that could have happened tonight. So worth noting. This is Dr. Redacted's second match at GCW, his first being at Backyard Wrestling 6. Right now, he's the current Insane 8 champion, 295 days and running. Redacted comes out first. He's pushing and running into people. He wants to be here. That shows prominently. We need a few more like him. Ruthless deathmatch bleeders who want to perform. I love the smoky colored glass panes. I don't know why. I thought it was different. It was a nice touch. Same thing. Here we go with a nice little deathmatch rundown. In the opening minute, the face-off happens. Murdoch eats a tube bundle and he puts Murdoch right through a glass pane. That was our first one down in the opening minute. Murdoch already has a deep cut on his arm. Both were exchanging chair shots outside the ring. Minute 2, Redacted flies from the apron and falls onto a chair, completely collapsing it. Dr. Redacted is then put head first through a pane of glass. Minute 3, Redacted's left hand is cut bad. There was a lot of setup here. Minute 4, Murdoch eats a door to the face. Redacted jumps from the second level onto Murdoch, who goes through a door. Minute 5, Murdoch hits a flatliner from the top rope that puts Redacted through a pane of glass, face first again. Minute 6, Redacted's head is fucked up. Go figure. Murdoch's busting full bundles. He eats another bundle and he's thrown into a chair. Minute 7, Murdoch places Redacted's head on a glass pane. The good doctor stood up and blew mist in Murdoch's face, which kind of interesting. Didn't see mist coming. He then puts Murdoch through the glass as he's blinded. Minute 8, there's a cover for 2. Redacted hits a 5-star frog splash with bundles laid on top of Murdoch. Russian leg sweep into the glass on the mat. Minute 9, there's a cobra clutch locked in on Murdoch. Redacted eats a chair. Double clotheslines. Both are down. GCW chants Redacted is getting that Murdoch rub. Minute 10, Redacted completely covered in blood. Worse than usual from the matches I've seen him at. Murdoch uses double knees to put Redacted face first through another pane of glass. I think it's number 3 or 4. Minute 11 till the end. Murdoch covers for 2. Murdoch props up a pane of glass, lights the pane on fire, and suplexes Redacted through the flaming glass. He covers for 3. Our winner here, John Wayne Murdoch. My first little note after the match was bravo, guys. Really.
Yeah, I agree. That was this is what I've been asking for my death matches. Fresh matchups.
Yep.
Fucking chaos. I loved it. I wrote going into this match, I think this is a make or break match. I'd hate to call it so early in Dr. Redacted's GCW career, but with so much hype behind him and a lot of fans calling for like new names for NGI, and he's pretty much up there as the top of the list of names that I hear. I thought this was a big time match for him to show that he could hold his own with someone like John Wayne Murdoch in GCW, and he delivered. He knocked it out of the park. Doctor fucking hit a home run, and I was so happy at the end. Never mind. I don't want to. It's for your next note, but on your next note, I'm so happy to see Dr. Redacted in GCW, at least now for the foreseeable future. He earned it. He killed it. That blood and like the blood sitting on those thick pieces of glass, like they were thick chunks of pieces. It wasn't like the fiberglass everywhere. It was just chunks of glass in that ring. And holy shit, those panes of glass, they were just brutal. And they went through it. You could see, like, as that match went on, you saw the pain on their faces. They're like, man, fuck, this is going to suck. And then as soon as they take that spot, you just see them like so mad. Like, I hate what I'm fucking doing. You can tell them like that was like one of these moments like, fuck, I'm doing this for these fans. But the fans ate it up. They clamored for Doctor. I'm so glad he got that reception. As you mentioned in your notes, John Wayne Murdoch's a perfect opponent to help elevate Dr. Redacted in whatever way you wanted to use him as a face or heel. And John Wayne Murdoch did his job. And yeah, bravo was a very good word. I thrilled. Thrilled was the word I used because I'm now starting after these 2 matches. That's what I've been asking for. Just give me fresh matchups, fresh quality matchups in GCW. Now, after this match, I got 3 new names I could throw out there arena and be just as fine. Any one of those 3 being faces of our ultraviolet title scene, as long as they're around and defending it and keeping ultraviolence in GCW.
Great One says that one shot they got of the corner of the ring and you couldn't see a bit of the canvas.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Wild.
Yep.
100% wild. I don't really know if that debut, we'll say it's a debut because backyard,
yeah.
I don't think that debut could go much better. I mean, I got to see everything I needed to see right there. Everything.
Yep. One match was sold on me.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? And the fans, listen to the fans. We know. I know it's like, oh, no, I mean, collectively, if you listen, about 80% of the time, the GCW fans will tell you what they want. So, Murdoch grabs a mic. He asked how many fans push for Dr. Redacted in GCW. He says, all that matters is the fans like him. Murdoch said Redacted just earned a spot in the NGI. He hands him the mic. Redacted's overcome with joy, and that's why we are considered supportive fans in this aspect. I saw a very happy man who had achieved a small goal, and that's another reason I get behind him. Also, I know this sounds stupid, but again, there's a couple hundred in here. It's 9:41 on a West Coast night. I'd offered to smoke with him, and he's like, "No, I don't smoke." Like, he's one of those fairly clean people too, and I want to give him credit for that, especially in this industry. It's not easy. So met his fiance or girlfriend. She's also nice as can be. Like the couple's fantastic people. So I do want to see him succeed. Also, he's a Chicago guy, Midwest. That's my people. We know where we come from, and if any of us can succeed, we just congratulate each other for it.
Go ahead.
Nah.
I was going to say, I'm just, as you said, the fans, listen to the fans. The fans have, I think, for 2 years in a row, every time TOS or NGI come up, Dr. Redacted is one of the first names I hear that's not like in GCW on a regular basis, or that we've seen a couple times even. Like, we saw him once, not even once going into this year, and this year now we've seen him, but that the fans definitely want him, and I think he definitely delivered and earned that spot and showed that he belongs. And I would like to see I'm excited to see what he could do at NGI. I'm really interested to see what these the tournament brackets or however many people they got this year. I'm very interested in the matchups, as I always am, but also the next night of like, hey, what can we do since we got all these death matches? Let's start. I hope the next night we get a lot more fresh new matches based off of everybody that wrestled in the tournament.
Yeah, our last tournament seemed a little light. Wasn't it like 8 participants total? Something like that? I can't remember. So the 2 death matches we just had back-to-back are the types of death matches that need to continue to be a staple at GCW. I understand giving us sports entertainment. I'm just saying not every match. Let's make sure that the variety still stays there. There was a lot of mess to clean up, and that took a short amount of time. I give Prazak kudos for killing time on the microphone with making announcement after announcement and then shooting the shit with Dominic Guarini. All microphone time is good time. I said that earlier in the show here. I don't know if I even want to say this next paragraph because I'm like, damn, because I feel like I touched on it, but let's just roll. I'll just roll. This is me talking, not Brent, not Game Changer, not Game Changer Weekly, not Body Slam. Not, I just kind of wrote this out and I was kind of working with it, but here's what I say that I may get killed, or maybe someone needs to say it first, but GCW fans, they canceled a lot of the deathmatch wrestlers with no real chance at change or redemption. And I feel like the fans are going to kind of get what they asked for, which is alienation of this person or that person from the platform. There's so many that are canceled that I feel like this is biting the fans in the ass just a little bit. And that's why the whole deathmatch world is spinning around them, a world that's already too thin. And that's, I was saying earlier, the number one deathmatch, the number one independent wrestling company in the world needs to also be the best deathmatch wrestling company. And it's not the individual, like I said, as much as it's the work that I miss, but a lot of these guys are aging. and we're missing prime footage for the GCW library. So I just wanted to mention it out there. And again, me being who I am, I'm like, look, let's look for maybe a path of redemption for some of these people, not all. There are plenty of people who needs to stay away because it's just not best. But there are quite a few others, like it's best not to even mention names, that I miss their work and I'd like to see them again. And I saw how we kind of did that with Violent J. We worked him in here little by little. I know the Backyard Wrestling was like the first little taste after a while, and it worked out really well. I believe we saw Schlack in Japan kind of stuck in there at one show, and that felt really good. And you know, I miss some of those death matchers, and I would like to see them back. And I know there's quite a few. It's money. I know there's quite a few. It's just general disagreements. We can't make the world change overnight, but I do believe I would love to see some kind of a redemption plan or something for some of these people that are gone that would just like to make and earn a living for themselves and be willing to say, look, shit happens. I obviously wasn't in control. I did what I could to try to get back on my feet, help others out, and make everyone's life around me better. If something like that happened, I mean, why not? I mean, there are so many people that just get shoved to the side, and this is deathmatch wrestling, guys. These aren't going to be ministers and preachers that are doing this job. These are going to be rougher people, rougher individuals. So we have to remember that it's hard to ask to be cut by a knife and then bitch at the sharpness. It's kind of, you know, so I'm just saying, I would like to see people be fair and open, and let's try to maybe look into having more deathmatch wrestlers that were maybe set aside, possibly come back in so that, yeah. Okay. Anyway, like I said, get a hold of me, DM me on Twitter. It's perfectly fine. I just wanted to give my opinion that I miss a lot of good wrestling that we used to have, and I would like to see it come back because GCW is on an incredible upswing, and deathmatch wrestling put them on the map, and it would be really fucked up to give up on the one thing that got you to the big dance.
I agree with you what you said. Like, there's some people I would love to see, and I think their situation can be rectified and fixed, and they are able to come back. And I also agree too. There's others like, yeah, there's some shit you definitely can't come back from, and those should stay away. But it is kind of that's the gritty side of the deathmatch scene. I guess independent wrestling, or just independent wrestling as a whole, just wrestling as a whole, not even independent wrestling.
Yeah.
As Frank said, I think you. Oh, where do you go? There we go. Twitter is the indie's greatest tool and the greatest enemy. I agree with you. If you know how to do it right, it's going to be your greatest tool. But one slip up and it become, or not even one slip up, one mistake, one mess up, one whatever you did, whatever, like one thing, and it becomes your greatest enemy. I'm kind of on the side too, situationally, obviously, based on seeing someone like Matthew Justice come back, like not knowing what the deal was or any of that stuff or why he was gone originally, but seeing him come back, I'm happy. I hope everything was on the up and up. Like, and there's a lot of things that we don't know about these wrestlers of why they don't show up for a while. And then like, oh, okay, that's why they're gone. Stay the hell away, keep it away. But some of these names I do miss seeing. And as I was saying, all these new names, Matthew Justice, throw his name back into that thing. Like, I can't believe we didn't even bring his name up just because he just returned. But imagine him carrying the ultra violent, or I think an extreme title. That title is made for him. That extreme title is made for him to do crazy stuff for it. So yeah, I'm right there. Like, I'm half and half. Like, some of these people, go away, don't come back. But there's others, I think that redemption is out there, and I'm kind of the same way. Situationally, on whatever mistake was made, grow, show that it's rectified, and get better as a person. Or some things are too serious, we're sorry, you can't come back from that, and we're not going to be that company that gives you that opportunity. Maybe someone else will, but it does affect our deathmatch scene and just talent pool in general. But I'm hopeful after like seeing this weekend, seeing some of these new names, there's a couple other names I've heard of, and I've never, like Dimitri's one of, like, I want to see more of. So it gives me hope that there is other talent out there, and to pick up where other people are dropping the ball. So
there's a couple people. There's a couple people that I would like to see an epic entrance back one day. We'll just see when it happens and how it happens. But Yeah, what about especially people who want to say that they are compassionate towards others? This would be a great place to show compassion to others. Especially I was always told that, you don't have to bend back over, like bend over backwards for others, but it's perfectly fine to bend over frontwards a little to give someone a hand. Someday you may need it. Um, yeah, there you go.
All right, and that will lead us to our main event 2 hours later into our show. We had a busy day, busy first show to
Hey
cover.
man, it's a great time today.
Main event of GCW Bad Ones is the GCW World Champion Mance Warner defending the belt against Danhausen.
Hometown legend Danhausen was very well received in this match. I don't think this goes well for him, though. Mance is out. He's in people's faces, throwing beer. People are throwing beer at him. He's yelling at whoever threw the beer. He's trying to get into the crowd to talk to that person. I put here, this is beautiful. It's unpredictable. It feels somewhat dangerous. And that's the way wrestling used to be. Referee Perch holds up the GCW World Championship and the bell rings. The crowd starts yelling at Mance almost immediately. Mance grabs the mic, asks Danhausen to dance to his little music. It's the only thing he's good at. Mance didn't see Danhausen ready to attack from behind. I was really hoping that he was going to continue dancing. This was kind of a slower match comparatively to the previous two matches we just had. Broski Jimmy came out and interfered. Perch can't do a thing. They ganged up on Danhausen, beat him up. That's when Joey Janela's music hits, and we now have a 2v2. Joey grabs a mic and says, fans are sick of Mance. He says the sports entertainment era sucks. I wonder if they were just trying to test the temperature of the crowd there. Thoughts? Because this one came to a no contest. So 8 minutes, no contest. I think it's very interesting he said that. Maybe, again, just to kind of get a vote from the crowd.
Literally, all my thoughts are right. Like, great one. Me and you are on the same page tonight, man. Literally, I enjoyed the opening. I love the Mance mocking Tequila. Danhausen kind of like, we haven't heard Tequila in a little bit. It was kind of nice having that little part, but yeah,
Interesting.
I'm agreeing with Joey Janela here. I'm not liking what this Mance Warner after this weekend. I wasn't too thrilled of these title defenses because as it goes right here, this one just boiled down. It was thrown out for no reason 8 minutes in, and then now turned into a tag match. And as you said, Danhausen just had a title shot and it got taken away from him for no fucking reason. I did not like that booking, and I'm really hoping, I'm scared it doesn't go down the Blake of having always interference, always having some fuckery. Mance Warner, like what he was doing before getting the title, and I guess like he's had a little bit of too many run-ins, in my opinion. I would like to just have him just straight be the killer, be the champion, run through everyone, get rid of all this fuckery. If he needs to get down low and do a low blow to win or pull some shenanigans behind the referee's back to do it himself, I'm for it. But I don't like this deathmatch royalty hanging this cloud over his title run, because I was loving his title run. I loving his matches, but I'm not all title match turn into a random tag team match for no other reason, just because people turned into. And yeah, there we go. Like the chicken shit, heel shit. Like that, I'm done. Like after the Blake stuff, I was done with it. Like that's why I was excited for Mance Warner. He was just, we're going through blood wars, and I'm gonna win because my grit and my love of GCW. I am been here since day one. You're gonna have to pull this away from me as a champion. And now as he is champion, we're not getting that with deathmatch royalty coming in and saving his ass every time. I just really hope this goes back to Mance being dominant without the deathmatch royalty fucking everything up, because that was the same shit I was tired of the whole time with Blake's championship run, with all the craziness and chicken shit heelness. Frank, you wrote it at rest. I'm not liking that kind of booking. And this weekend of I told you before the show, I loved the shows until the main events. These two main events, get me out of there. I don't like it at all. Like, I know what they're trying to do, and they're trying to weave one thing into another and put it all together. I'm just, it's the same people, same shit, same formula, and it's just now different. How it looks differently, but it's coming out with the same results, and I'm not liking that at all.
how would you change it to make it more, you know what I mean? Like what would make it more palatable to you that you feel would, improve it to where it's,
Mance doing whatever he can to win the title on his own without the help of deathmatch royalty, because then it now just becomes more of them being part of the title holders than it is about Mance being the fucking man. Like this needs to be a solo run, I think, a solo act and a solo kind of statement from Mance Warner. I could do this shit myself. I don't need them. But if the time comes, I do need backup. I have it. I just hate how they're interfering in these times. Like great one, that was perfect. Like you just now destroyed a title. The title shots and all that stuff is another ridiculous. And I get, yes, it is a setup for Fight Club. Oh wait, I skipped it. It is a set club. I get that. I'm not even looking forward to this Art of War Games match. Do we think Cardona is going to get crazy in there? Like after these last few Art of War matches and all the fuckery and violence we've seen, now we're going to have a sports entertainment. I mean, if they go that route, I get it, but I don't want to see that. I want to see my Art of War Games be violent and have meaning. Like this just feels like it's being forced, and I don't like these kind of big special matchups like War Games. It doesn't have to be a yearly thing or Art of War Games. Like save that shit for when it means something, because now, like when you start throwing in these random teams and names just to have that match on a yearly consistent basis, it totally drowns out the importance and the uniqueness of that match. And to me, that's what it feels like this Art of War Games match is. I understand their ultimate viewpoint of this. I just don't think it's going to deliver or have anywhere near the violence or impact that a GCW Art of War Games had compared to the last few years, especially.
I'm going to start with great one right here. It could have been Joey running Jimmy out of Harpo's and then have an actual finish to the singles match. That's correct. Right here, Dan is whack. Can't take him seriously. Nothing has changed from AEW to now. Nothing. I'll just stay real quick. There needs to be more promos. It's fine to have him in matches, but they need to be shorter matches where he can entertain and kind of move on. That's who he is. If he wants to be. See, now Danhausen's going to hate me for life, but right now he needs to just work with smaller matches and more sizzle, less steak. WWE style is way Danhausen needs to be run over and independent right now. We deserve a long-term fighting face champ after all this Drek. Yeah, about a year and a half of fucking Drek. It would be nice that finally someone who is a face wins, because it's just been spoiler heel, spoiler heel, spoiler heel. In this Mance run, the best thing he could do is break away from deathmatch royalty, because it's actually weakening his character. When he's trying to show how tough he is, it's actually showing how much help he needs. And that is unnecessary. The way I would write this was I would have it to where Mance goes, you know what? I don't need you motherfuckers. And Cardona, if you think you're the leader of this group, you're not. I'm the leader of this fucking group. Would you like to challenge me for it? Because I have a belt and you don't. You're a bullshit fake champion. I have a real GCW world champion. If you want to butt heads, come on over here and let's do it right here. And there's Mance and Cardona going at it. So we'll see what happens over there on that one. Where was I at here? It felt like they didn't have the balls to have Danhausen lose in Detroit. That is, even if that wasn't the case, that's what it may have looked like to some people. It's good you brought that up. There's the setup. A dusty finish would have been better than that. Give us a well-crafted fight. Yeah.
Yep. I'm agreeing with all this stuff. Like, I hate to say that because I loved Vance's what he's been doing as champion, but after this weekend, I was like, ew. Like, I did not like the main events at all.
These are the fans speaking, by the way. The fact War Games isn't UK versus USA
That's a good point.
Crime. SDL being out of action might change everything. 100% agree.
And I'm hoping that causes the friction and breakup.
Yeah. Maybe with SDL down now, maybe Mance can go down that route. Like your idea. SDL is actually going to be out of action. Yes, it's going to be quite a while too. I feel terrible for her. And my question is, does she come as an on-screen character then for a while? And would she be a new GM?
I hope not. Oh God.
I don't know.
No offense to Steph, but oh no, please don't.
Well, here's what's going on. And I'll be the one to say it. GCW fans have been beaten to the fucking ground with heels. And we could use some good times for just a month. Can we stop having fights at the parties? Could we just have a party? That's maybe what I'm talking about. I'm just saying that we get set up for the main event and you're like, okay, I can settle in my, in my seat. It's going to be a 15-minute show. And then that match gets thrown out. And then you go to the next show and that match gets thrown out. We got, so I'm just saying we're talking tonight. We're having a little more of a powwow than usual, but honestly, I think these are things that GCW does need to look at on this podcast tonight, is how many people are saying these things. And I don't know. I need a drink myself.
I agree right here. Like, I am all for this whole sports entertainment stuff that they were doing, but it's, as you said, they're just every main event's now getting fucked over. And like, dude, that's like the main draws of all these cards that people pay money to go to, and you're fucking them over every time. Like, in a way that doesn't need to be happen, where you can still get the same results in just a different way that makes the fans happy. So I agree with everything everybody's been saying right there. I'm hoping it does kind of, Mance Warner breaks apart there.
The formula is fucking with us, and we're not having as much fun, and not in a fan way, but in a human being, like, hey, it's hard to watch this.
And like, we got the same promo from Joey 2 nights in a row. Like, it's saying the same shit, that it's like the same shit we've been hearing about. Just take out Blake's name, and now you're throwing in Mance's name. It's the same fucking issues and problems, unfortunately. Like, I'm hoping this stops. I'm starting to get on Joey Janela's side, and that's the one thing I didn't think I'd be happening here with all this stuff going on.
Great one. I don't mind heels winning with dirty finishes, but have the balls to have the heels win instead of title matches turning to tag matches without the challenger not even really being pissed about it. Yeah, so that's another thing. Again, I'll say this. It's one thing to have a heel that's spoiling this and spoiling that. But again, if it takes 4 people to do it, or if it takes this, you're not really building a strong champion. You're building a weak champion that needs help. Let Mance do his thing. Mance doesn't need help. I said it today, and it was probably kind of a dumb idea. Mance is doing enough work for 2 champions right now. Does he need a second championship? Absolutely not. But I'm just telling you, he's more UV right now than a lot of the wrestlers we have outside of 2 others, maybe 3. So, I mean, one man is doing all that right now. We need about 3 more just like him. Dr. Redacted, we could use 3 or 4 just like him. Where's our fucking attitude? Everybody's coming out almost Hollywood style, like, I want to be your friend. Not everybody wants to be your friend, and that's perfectly fine. You need to be able to go to the ring and whoop ass. Sometimes you need to be believable. Sometimes you don't. I don't know. I'm getting all worked up in some weird way tonight. It's kind of funny here. Someone was asking about RSP for a minute. Was there anything there?
Yeah, someone said, Frank said, did RSP heel? I think he did it in a way where he was kind of like how a little bit Blake started off, was like a big FU to the fans. Like, yeah, I'm winning this way. Fuck off. That's going to piss you off. But I don't think he needed as much help but like, even when he did it, he didn't do it in a way like, haha, I'm fucking better than you. Like how Mance kind of was like, hey, I'm the champion. Like, he kind of felt like little bitch moves here this weekend. And I hate to say that I'm Mance Warner as a champion, but it just did not feel like he was over there. It just felt like he was being overran by Deathmatch Royalty, and that they're kind of overshadowing him. And I definitely don't want him to be overshadowed on this title run. He does not need to be overshadowed. None of this craziness needs to even be a part of this. Yes, none of it's necessary with Mance Warner. He could do all this heel work and all this fantastic stuff as the heel champion and successfully defend the belt without any of the Deathmatch Royalty screw arounds. But this Art of War, like, I forgot Megan Baines is about. There's not going to be any. It's going to be tables, and maybe 2 people go through a light. Like Mance Warner might get blood, and Cardona might take a light too, because it's freaking Fight Club and it's GCW. But I don't see this match getting too crazy. But yeah, that's a great one. Said over 440 did a lot of interference, but never overshadowed it. I think that's what's happening right now.
Maybe it's just the character, but I'm starting to get a little annoyed with what Cardona's doing over and over and over. And I also say, like, it is kind of hard to also, I mean, listen to a guy like, I'm going to go to WWE. I'm going to be WWE. Motherfucker, the phone has worked every day since you've been fired. They're not calling right now. Your wife is over there. Maybe something will go on from there, but dude, they ain't calling. You're just another guy that's like, I'm too good for independent wrestling, but yet I'm an independent wrestler because I'm not good enough to make it to WWE. That's perfectly fine. but at some point get over it and maybe do something else. You know, most of the guys that go from WWE eventually, they drop the I'm too good for independent gimmick in the first couple shows. And then after that, hey, and again, right there, see, Larry says that's why Cardona is awesome. I get that too. I'm just saying it's starting to become annoying and I would like to see something else go on. I'm overhealed, completely overhealed. It's a
And I
pain in
think in
the ass.
independent wrestling, we get more tired of stuff faster, especially at GCW, because like on a weekly, then we would be on TV because it's like we don't see these characters or these wrestlers often. Like this might be the last Danhausen match we see in a main event for a while, and like now all those people are not going to be happy. Yeah, sorry.
I was just bringing it up because yeah, I'm overly healed. Who are our faces? I'm just trying to
make Drew into a giant one, and if Drew can wrestle on a somewhat regular, but not regular, but I'm not expecting him to show up at fucking Harpo's like every 8 weeks, but I do expect him maybe at least once a month, hopefully, to be able to make the trip down here. Still give us 12 matches a year that are crazy, or 12 weekends that just blow the roof off. I think he is the literally next thing to. He's my pick. I'm hoping they announce him for NGI. I want the Prince to take over the King's throne, especially with the King not here. Now is the time to kind of make a new face of it. And I think Joey, yeah, is facious, but I don't know. I think they need a new face, and the Drew Parker would be one where I would kind of do right now.
I don't know.
You want to go? Oh, sorry.
No, I had to adjust my microphone here. I just feel like it's a situation where a year and a half, 2 years ago, when we were on, the Plant podcast, we were asking about having some heels. And for the last year or so, it's been poured on us so thick it's almost unenjoyable sometimes. I don't have a better way to put that, but at times, as someone who watches it and enjoys it, some of this stuff is almost unenjoyable because it's overbearing. And we understand it's a storyline, and we understand, but man, you got to leave us sometimes smiling at the end of the night. And sometimes that isn't happening as much, and that's perfectly fine. But
and I think they're overdoing something that worked, but then they've now ran it into the ground.
I don't know. I just know that Mance can work on his own. He doesn't need help. I feel like Cardona needs Mance more than Mance needs Cardona. I feel like the whole group needs Mance or Cardona more than, I know that if Deathmatch Royalty is done tomorrow, Jimmy's back to square one. He can't come out to that ring in half purple pants and be like, you will respect me. That shit's done. Hopefully right now, Jimmy is working on his dude. I just hope Jimmy's ready to work. I hope he's already working on his next step when Deathmatch Royalty is gone, because we can't have, Walmart brand Cardona forever. He's going to have to get out on his own and do it too. So we'll see how that goes. But we've kind of heard everything Jimmy's going to do. We've actually probably seen the ceiling to this character. So we'll see what happens there.
Now it's literally the same promo at every single place.
Right. So we've seen the formula. We've heard it probably 40, 50 times. It's, like I said, where's the tan? Where's the hair? Where's all the other things that should come along with
Jimmy?
All we have
for little lost Jimmy.
Jimmy is one promo and some pants different. And the only other thing is he's using Cardona's, move set, which that's all fair and all. But is that really making someone into somebody, or is that just making someone a carbon copy of you? Are you really, are you really drawing, or are you just coloring in the lines?
And I think that's what originally started off, was that. But I think now he's kind of like, as you said, it's gotten to the point. I would have Jimmy come out and his underneath, maybe have his all white GCW shirt, his all white ripped up painter pants, and then Cardona's reaching out for his hand, and Jimmy's just nope. And then one light tube to Cardona is all it's going to take, and Jimmy is back like that. You have him cut a promo saying he's done with that bullshit. He's going to be the real Prince, and maybe you can have him going after Drew Parker, since Jimmy's always calling himself the Prince. And that's kind of where I was hoping those two would kind of interact and play along with that kind of arguing of who really is the Prince one. But I think Jimmy's one light tube to Cardona. He's an instant face. He's established. We're back in my deathmatch Jimmy shit. And if he could just get a feud like how he had with G Raver, or kind of get those stories and focus on him and what he's doing, I think he would be right back to being one of the big fan favorites. And another integral part to what's happening in the UV and Extreme title scene that he's a valuable piece on.
I'm kind of stuck on what to say. I'm kind of stuck
on the third one, Frank.
Going into it, what would be believable for him? You know, with Jimmy's situation, I mean, what's left in the ceiling?
Yeah.
No, I'm dead serious. Like, he hit his ceiling and Cardona said, well, okay, now copy me. Learn these moves. Learn the way I work on the mic. Wear these pants. And then, okay, so then where's the depth after that? Because the fun was, the fun to him was the change. The changes happened after a couple weeks and then there wasn't any anymore. I love you, Larry.
I swear to God, I was thinking the same thing. I just looked at the top clock. I said 10:10. I'm like,
holy fuck.
We haven't even finished the second first show yet.
Well, it turned into a bullshit session. We're actually talking about real shit tonight.
I know, right? I knew we had a lot of stuff to talk about tonight.
I was going to throw out a warning on Twitter, but there's going to be some shit that's being said tonight, and you're just going to have to eat it. You know, I've taken on canceling. I've taken on death match people. Fuck it, let's do it. Yeah, ready for that main event, brother?
Yeah, let's get it done and over. Because I don't even want to. I don't even got nothing else to say. Like, honestly, I wasn't happy with it. I'm not liking. I know what you're about to say. I got nothing to add on. But like, I literally didn't even take notes. I was like,
no sweat.
I got what I wanted in that show by the end of the Doctor Redacted match. I was all in and for it. And yeah, I actually thought like there was no main event. I totally forgot like that they could end the show right now, and I'm happy. So yeah, I got nothing to add on to this main event or even the next one. I didn't even take good notes. I was not left happy at the main events.
No sweat. I've got you covered here. All right. So yeah, we had Bad Boy Hausen versus Deathmatch Royalty. Bad Boy Hausen is a better name than one I come up with. I came up with Danella, which sounds like some ex-girlfriend that you regretted from high school. Tag rules apply. Joey handled the heavy lifting early. Danhausen then came in and beat on both Jimmy and Mance. GPW on the split screen action. Thank you. Mance held upside down for a long time by both Joey and Danhausen before finishing the delayed suplex. Danhausen was put through a door bridge, kicks out at 2. Jimmy and chair and Joey DVDs Mance onto Jimmy. Joey makes the shot bridge with a door on top, and Mance puts Joey through it via superplex, kicks out at 2. Fans are chanting teeth as Danhausen pours them in Jimmy's mouth. Joey hits the DVD for 3. Our winners here was Bad Boy. Winners were Bad Boy Hausen. I like the surprise and impromptu main event. These types of surprises can sometimes be like finding extra cherries in your sundae if the match is booked properly. Joey grabs a mic and says thank yous to the fans, says the building is the most bipolar of any building. It's hot and then it's cold. He said Danhausen's been fucked more than a Craigslist hooker. He thinks they should go to a Rochester show and show everyone why they should be on national TV. A discussion goes down whether Stevie Wonder is alive or dead. Danhausen with a microphone, as he should, was being entertaining, and they close out tonight. Big ups to the Harpos fans. I wanted to say I've never seen any chunks of empty seats. People were there when they needed to be and ready to go. I feel like that looks way better on TV than rows of empty seats for the opening 2 to 3 matches. So great job there for everyone. Really appreciating what was in front of them and showing up on time to get their money's worth out of it. This is a very long show. Anything else you want to say about that one before we close that bad boy out?
No, like I said, I'm excited. This match, this card really got me excited for NGI. I love seeing the new fresh matchups. Was excited what's happening. Now I feel like I'm getting excited for everything else outside the world title scene, because this was not for me. As Joey those promos kind of hit home to me. Like, but you can also hear the pain and like I could see the talent being upset with this too. It's like, man, why? Like as Great One said earlier, Danhausen and Joey said in the promo, got totally fucked there. Yep. Like, what is the point? And that's not the first time he's been like. Joey was awesome on the promo. Like he got screwed by Blake in Tampa. Like this is, and I don't mind seeing it once every while, but that goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning of the show. You said all the draws and the wins and losses.
Yes.
13 fucking draws is insane for a year, and we're not even 9 months into this year. Out of 40 matches, 13 different matches that ended no winner. That actually pissed me off way then, and I was like, oh, that is awful. And that goes back to this turned into a tag match. It's just a waste of a match. And I get what they're trying to do. Like we always say, we love how one match weaves into the other and it makes sense. As you said, this one did not make any sense in my opinion. And I just hope Vance gets a little bit better treatment moving forward. All right, Darren Walker, real fast. Yeah, we are talking about this weekend shows. We are now just ending show 1, 2 hours in. So we're going to hop hour 2 here, or show 2 here, and
we'll be faster.
Yeah, about to say this one will be a little faster. I took most of my notes was on that Blake Ciclope match, so my notes are a little bit cheaper. Like I said, I didn't even take notes in the main event because it didn't even get me happy enough to even go to type. I just wasn't too happy. So our next card was GCW, the G code from, oh, you don't have the place there. You messed
Rochester, New York, baby.
Water Street Music Hall in Rochester, New York.
That's right. We're in Brett Lauderdale's home territory. So, he was going to bring the heat in this show. The average match length on this 9-match card was over 13 minutes, and that's counting a 3-minute match that severely brought down the average. Without that 3-minute banger, we would have had a match length of over 14 and a half minutes on average. Dave Prazak and Rob Sandersons are our voice for the night. I think they both did an excellent job. The beautifully centered GCF&W banner looked good. Maybe hang more of those, get them signed, sell them at the end of every night. Whatever it takes. But that's what I wanted to say before our show got started.
And that is my first note as well. I liked the addition of the GCF&W flag in the background of the hard cam. It added a lot, and I didn't even think about more, but yeah, as you said, more kind of like the banners of TOS and stuff. It does add a lot. So I did like that little, just that one single banner, just even though it kind of looked a little cheesy, to me is like, this is the GCW show.
I love it. And it kind of shows us we have it. It's not big, but we got one, so we're going to show it. And that's our flag.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. First matchup was the tag team match as To Infinity and Beyond go against the Pillars.
I put To Infinity and Beyond were over in their home territory of New York. The Pillars aren't very far off from their home territory in Detroit. Felt like this match, they kept the pace up and obviously had a lot of dedicated fans in the crowd. Our winner here was in To Infinity and Beyond in a 13-minute match. Respectively, I just put that these aren't GCW talents, so I wasn't heavily invested. It could have been over in less than the allotted 13 minutes. It wasn't as high energy as a typical GCW opener. However, I have to say, overall, good for them.
Yeah, I wrote down too. I thought this was a well-placed match. I was similar. I wasn't involved in it because they weren't really regulars, but I think for just a match, they did really good. I think both teams looked like well-oiled machines. They were both very creative. They both had a very fun and smooth match, and I thought this was a fun opener. But as you said, a different energy style and pace than what we're used to seeing. I thought this was a good way just to kind of get the crowd happy to see some local guys before all the craziness that was to come later in the show. And yeah, Infinity and Beyond, I don't mind seeing them anytime they're in New York. I like seeing them tag up. And this was like out of the three or four times we've seen them, I think in GCW, this was like one of my favorite ones because they looked smooth. Yeah. Like everything was. This was a well-ran tag match. And I loved like they felt very old school in this tag match. This felt very like kind of territorial, a little bit in the ring of back in the territory days with some of the spots of playing it out, just getting the fans involved into what was happening instead of putting on like crazy moves. They were just like doing little work holds and getting the fans to cheer and get them invested into the match. And I thought that was very smart. And yeah, I think these two teams meshed well together. Our next matchup is for the JCW World Title as the champion Masha Slamovich defended it against Man Like Darius.
All right. Masha was posing for the hard cam. I thought that was cool. I was talking about the last time that they were there. I love when people get in front of the camera right over there. It's there. Use it. Show some personality. I also think that being an active defendant champion is cool too. Imagine all those 4 championships firing on all cylinders weekly or semi-weekly and how exciting that could be. This is more of a technical match. Darius was definitely hanging in there. I enjoyed Emil on the mic calling all the technical spots. As always, he is a blast to listen to. Masha chants ringing out through the crowd. I'll mention a nasty missile drop kick by Masha that connected hard on Darius. Darius here was the heel. I've learned that there's an 0121 level to him. What that means is the less 0-1-2-1s in the match, the more heel we get. If we get up to 5 0-1-2-1s, then Darius unlocks a new moveset in the match, and he's an ultra good guy.
He's
So I think that's what's
the match.
Yeah. 5 0-1-2-1s.
Get the momentum up.
Oh my God. Okay, so you got it. Good.
Yeah.
Our winner here, Masha Slamovich, when she slapped on a chokehold and put Darius's ass to sleep. In the end, they shook hands and everything was good. But yeah, they banged it out, and it was almost 15 minutes long. They filled the time, and they made the both. What did you see? Said for what?
I don't know. But who slipped up and said something? I don't know who said something. I'm afraid what I said possibly said.
I don't know. You said it. You said it, not me.
I was laughing. It was funny.
What are your thoughts on this one?
I just knew this match was going to be another fantastic match like they had in the J Cup earlier this year. And these two just, as I said earlier, they got chemistry. Like, I think man like Darius, out of almost anybody in GCW, his best, one of the most best matches I've seen are from Masha. Like, they just click well. Their styles mesh. But they also are unique enough that where when Darius is doing like the more high flying or more powerful moves, Masha's using her advantage in the striking game to get out of these moves and big time impact moves from man like Darius. So I just love how they play with each other, with the mindset and the mental aspect of wrestling. And I would love to see them kind of feud for the JCW title. I think man like Darius is more suited right now to be someone that holds that title more than Masha. I think Masha is kind of a too big, in my opinion, a bigger name than what the JCW title could be or should be in GCW, or how they're kind of using it. And I think man like Darius, as you said, Megan Bain, there's a lot of names out there that we could throw out there that I think would make very strong champions. And for me, man, like Darius, and seeing this matchup, I like to see them kind of feud for that belt. And as we talked about every other title, stories make fans invested into it. And you don't even need, as we saw in Manson Effie, we don't need a title involved to be invested in that story and have that be the most looked forward to match of the night. And I think that would help out Masha with the JCW title, as well as to have somebody that's building up and feuding for that belt. And she realizes that someone's coming and she has to stop that before it gets to that point where she has to defend it.
I'll just put this one up right here for a second. We have a new person who just come in. Hello. To a lot of people that follow Twitter here, I was just recently on a radio show on Sunday morning, and the talk was about Double or Nothing and AEW. I believe it's All Out that recently just happened, and all the violence. So I was kind of brought on as a deathmatch, expert, we'll just say. One of the first pieces of information I hit that radio station with was this. They said, what are your thoughts on deathmatch and its prevalence in AEW, and how much do you feel it should be there, and should it be there? And what's with all the GCW influence? And the first thing I told him was, if you go look at the main card of All Out, 15 of the 20 performers on that card were seen in GCW in the last 5 years. So, I mean, if you want to talk about violence and GCW and AEW pretty much took all the GCW wrestlers when they scooped up when they first started. They combed independent wrestling like crazy. And what it left independent wrestling with was a lot of fumes, funny thing. And so when it comes down to it, GCW has so much inside AEW that is just not talked about very often. If I ran down the roster, you'd be surprised who's shown up in AEW that were originally GCW performers.
I think they're influencing a lot of like all these, like, I don't want to say garbage matches, but like these like gimmick matches that AEW has been doing, like the Texas death match. Like, come on, like that's GCW on a weekly basis doing a death match.
Yep.
We now see like WWE's doing like, yeah, they're definitely influencing what the bigger companies are doing, because like I see it like almost on a, like Eric and Arita is the closest thing I felt watching a big time company like AEW, WCW, AEW that I felt like GCW, because like the anarchy and the music's playing, the fans are still cheering, singing, and watching it. Actions all over the place. You don't know where to go. I would like to see like these bigger companies and these multi-person matches start to use a split screen like how GCW did. Like that just blows my mind. Like the other one of the matches, especially during Anarchy in the arena, but one of these recent matches has like you got all these competitors fighting all over the ring. It would just be cool to have a box for each one and see what's going on and all that craziness. And seeing the influence that GCW is doing with other companies with those kind of crazy style matches, the getting the fans involved. And like last night, Bronson Reed threw a fucking fan, and like they're wrestling all over the place in the arena. Like that's GCW, that's SGC. So it is for me, I think that's what they're kind of doing with the death matches or the extremeness, is their influence and how they're doing it into their shows is now like almost on a weekly basis. You see one of these crazy, just one extreme kind of matchups on wrestling on TV. And it's been cool to see, because I think they do add something different than seeing the normal one-on-one or tag team or trios or 4-on-4 match. And you get a bunch of fuckery and craziness going on in the middle of a event. That's just going to get the fans excited and looking forward to what's happening the rest of the night. And I think that's what's the other companies have been doing really good lately.
Well fucking said, man. I can't even follow up on that.
Willow 9 again. So. All right. Sorry.
Nope. Nothing. I was just going to say, yeah, Willow Nightingale, this is going to happen more, but to go to a suffocation spot and a needle spot, that was well beyond what I expected. But yeah, we're looking at 30 years ago, 25 years ago. This is ECW, and WWF and WCW are trying to do what's hot in our arena without fully acknowledging what we're doing. So who knows? But at some time we might see the WWF all of a sudden use, a suffocation spot, or who knows? Because right now AEW is willing to try most anything. And I watched, I listened to Jim Cornette talk about those spots, and he said that All Out was what would happen if you give Ian Rotten $1 million and told him to book a show. I'm like, yeah. So, AEW is like the indies with billionaires. Those are all indie people, whether you like it or not. Even though they're charging $85 for a fucking signature, they'd almost give you one for free 4 years ago. Just being fair. And the platform propped up quite a few independent wrestlers that were not ready for it yet also. And I really do feel 20 years from now, maybe someone will write a book on the era where they combed through and took everyone out of the independent scene. And how about 50+% of them were not ready for TV yet. But that'll be something we'll maybe hear about later.
Sorry, I was reading the chat here. I was listening.
People are talking, man.
Yeah, these last couple ones, I was like, ooh.
Yeah. This is why we get caught up. It's great. It's good
right,
talk.
I know, that's why it takes a long time. Yeah, suffocation pot done by Terry Funk in the 80s. I didn't mind that. I'm GCW, so I'm not going to be mad over a plastic bag over someone's face. Like Mason used to do that on a weekly basis, so like we're desensitized to stuff like that now. JBL, that's what I was wondering, like that fourth person in Art of War games. Like I feel like that's going to be someone like a JBL, a Raj Desi, unfortunately, or something like that. I don't know. I that's the only thing that has me somewhat intrigued about that match coming up. But it is pretty cool seeing JBL all over the place. Maybe he is recruiting.
I just know that all the people want to come down here and do GCW once. So again, it's GCW. What is good though? I've heard people in AEW go, oh, well, it's dangerous at GCW. First of all, we have a 70-some-year-old man fucking wrestling at GCW when he wants to. We have a guy in his late 60s that comes over to wrestle at GCW. Also, we have less stretchers coming out to the ringside at GCW. Just being fair.
Yep. All right, our third matchup of GCW, the G Code, was a 4-way match between Sawyer Wreck, Brooke Havoc, Dark Sheik, and Maki Ito.
I wouldn't have minded a hardcore match for the Extreme title, but it wasn't what we got here. And as Prazak said, this is where Sawyer first injured her wrist I would have loved to have booked an extreme title angle on that alone versus Maki. Each shined in their own quick fashion. It was a very busy ring, less than 8 minutes long. I'll put here as our winner, Sawyer Wreck. It was a quicker match. Everyone got to see their favorites. I'm quite happy blowing through that for what it was. It was just a quick match. They put all the ladies in there together kind of thing and just went at it. And if
I
they
got
got what they wanted
similar
accomplished.
notes. Yeah. Yeah,
Oh
definitely.
shit. Okay, go for it, brother.
I pretty much got almost the exact same thing. I wrote all 4 provided a different and unique moveset / character that I was assuming that was going to mesh well together in this one. I think it did. Each one showcased what they provided, and they all I wrote the same word you just shined. They all shined given the opportunities and spots during this match and the what little time that they had. I think they all did good. My main takeaway was now we finally got Maki. Now she's not defending the belt. I'm done talking about that. So yeah, Laurie, I mentioned it. I'm done talking about that too. So like I don't want to repeat what I said, but that was what I wrote down here. It's like 2 shows and no defenses.
That's real useful. That's real useful. Thanks.
I know, copying John. I think everybody took my notes. Great ones got my notes almost word for word over here. John saying all the same shit I'm saying. All my shit's going away. That's for sure.
Hey, that's cool though. That's really cool though, because we're all on the same mindset on this one, and we've all kind of reacted to the same, information or not info, but entertainment that GCW has given us. So, I mean, we're all obviously on the same page, and I hope that gets listened to.
Real fast, just because we were talking about the ladies in the last match, Tess Blanchard in GCW. I would say no, because she has never apologized for what she has done or taken ownership of it. So that would be my case of why, like that would be a no. Why? Because she's never shown any growth or apologized. So other than that, her talent's good, but no, that like one that we were kind of talking about earlier. We were talking a little bit earlier about that Bravo about some people being canceled stuff, and that's not a name we brought up because she's never wrestled in GCW, but just wanted to touch on that real fast because we did talk about something similar.
Yeah, I honestly feel like there's a path to redemption for most anyone as long as they're still alive. So if anyone decides to change, become a better person, apologize, and grow up in any set or fashion, then by all means, open arms to anyone who wants to change for the better when they've made mistakes.
Yeah.
I'm old fashioned like that.
All right. Our next matchup was Zilla Fatu going against Gringo Loco.
Yeah, this was wild. Almost 16 minutes, 2 fan favorites going at it. I think I also saw Skittle front row. Love you, man. Weapons came out in minute 4. I see chairs and doors. Gringo was heating up the crowd, calling someone a bitch. I don't know who it was, but they did not like it. I put that these two worked very well together. There was an insane Spanish fly through a door bridge. Both hit perfectly at the same time. That's kind of rare to see if anybody ever watches those. Our winner here was Zilla Fatu when he connects the Samoan spike with Gringo's neck in mid-air. I feel like Zilla has made a sport out of where he can hit the Samoan spike from midair, from here, from there. Yeah, man, Zilla tagged in a win on fucking Gringo Loco and went 16 fucking minutes.
That was the most impressive part. Yeah, that's what I wrote down here. I wrote Gringo has always been making his opponents look really good, especially as of late. And with Zilla being on the role that he is and growing as a competitor, I was wondering how extreme this match would get, or would this be a good time to show a good ring awareness kind of matchup for the main one in Zilla here and kind of keep it not so fuckery, but show a different side of him. Was happy it did get fuckery. Gringo does a good job of going with the fuckery, and I think right now that kind of fits Zilla good where he is at in his career. And I agree right here with Rose. This match fucking rocked. Zilla's been having really good matchups with Blake, with Gringo, with anybody. This one was another match to showcase how versatile he is and keeps on growing as a competitor. And Gringo once again just shows how valuable he is. And in a loss, continuing to show his value and elevating younger talent and helping them improve. And I can't wait to see what Zilla does after this matchup with Gringo and how much he's grown and what he uses in this match in the next matchup. No, Bravo. I don't think Zilla and Survivor Series is way too soon for that. But I could see that happening sometime down the line, but not at this moment right now.
I see Jacob Fatu maybe getting involved there somewhere.
He's
But
probably already
Zilla needs some time in developmental. He needs some NXT time just to get him on the same page with what an average WWE wrestler has learned. You know what I mean? Zilla has some fantastic building blocks, but the WWE can put some extra building blocks in place on that foundation that generally aren't focused upon on the independent scene. You know, their training regimen is so far and beyond most other, you know, barring maybe somewhere like Booker T's school or whatnot.
He's out there. That's where he works right now.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he works for Row.
No kidding. Oh yeah, that's right. He does. He's a title holder over there, I believe, right now.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, man, lucky motherfucker. He's doing so good. Yeah, even running the fucking ropes, no one should be that comfortable after 30 matches. He's a natural all the fucking way. So, all right. So that's that one. On to our 3-minute banger.
I took no notes on this one. I'm going.
You're good, brother. I got you.
Vince Valor versus Bray Wellington.
So I have here that this is again more of a local situation, except for Breyer there. Breyer comes out and shits on everyone in Rochester. Vince is our face. So we have Valor chants for his debut. I think it's cool to like chant Valor. I don't know. It just seems Viking-like or something. I put that this would have been a great dark match at 3 minutes long. Our winner here was Vince Valor with a roll-up. I didn't really know Vince that much. From what I saw, I thought he was passable by far. So I don't know. Next time we roll through, maybe see another match from him. I'll just kind of put this one out there too. That was kind of this happens in LA. This happens at a lot of shows. So in LA, especially, I've seen this. We spend $90, $80 front row for a ticket, and sometimes we're watching local talent that we can see for $30. So I don't like a local heavy talent GCW show because it's not necessarily our responsibility to boost the local talent all the time. And that's how sometimes we get these matches where it's just local versus local. That should probably be at the local level. Maybe let a local, work with the GCW talent, but just a local match in the middle of a GCW show is useless to the international fans. So I'm just making it. Maybe that should have been on the dark match to pump up the fans a little bit. I would have rather taken 8 quality matches in this scenario. God, yeah, we're rough tonight.
No, I'm the same way. Like, I did not get it. I get its place, but like for 4 minutes, and it just didn't provide anything, I think, to their overall show other than whatever the local 3-letter promotion is out there to kind of give them a little quick boost with some of their talent. But I feel like most of the talent we get from like the New South company, when we go down there, we're getting talent that's like right there to take the next step to elevate to the higher ceiling of programming, where that's what we usually get from like Braden Toon, 100 Drake. They're just like couple more matches, couple more months and improvements. They're right there and going to be there. Like this one, I was like, why did this happen? Because I don't see any of these going to show up on GCW anytime soon or anywhere else anytime soon other than the local area. So I tuned out real quick on this one. I was glad it was 3 minutes. I actually stepped away and I came back and it was over. So I was like, okay, that's why I got no notes on it. But yeah,
I don't want to be negative. It's just this match was not our responsibility. I don't know a better way to put it. I'm a GCW fan. I don't know those guys. It's perfectly fine. But at the same time, I mean, it's the local responsibility to put on a local show. It's not our job to come in, spend premium bucks on a fucking ticket so we can watch Vince Valor and Bray Wellington tear it up for 3 minutes. So, I mean, I'm just making that point. And this happens in LA. I've seen Sandra Moon for $20. I don't need to pay $90. I've seen Bad Dude Tito for $40. I don't need to pay $90. I've seen some of these local people, and I'm just being fair. It's not our responsibility. It's nice to have 1 or 2 here or there, but if I see 4, 5, 6 talents, some of them are tag teams on my GCW show, I'm questioning why I'm paying premium price for half local talent. And I'm just, since we're out there tonight, since we're on one tonight, I might as well just add that one to the list. I don't like looking at an LA card and seeing half of them are people I could watch for less than half the price on any given weekend. I know, and I may be going. I'm going against the grain. Hey, no shit. I felt like I wasted time.
We
and
covered more.
Not what I paid for.
All right, let's get us off that. Let's get some freshness and get some youth in our system here. Next match is Alec Price going against Marcus Mathers.
21-year-old Marcus is out first. He's fresh off his second tour of Japan. 25-year-old Alec Price comes out a ball of fire like always. I'm not going to lie. I love both of these guys. I felt this match was a touch slow at times, which is not usual for them. I felt really awkward about it at times because it wasn't the normal guys we've seen. I was just realizing the lights are either bright in areas or dark in areas, and there's no happy in between. I know that's not easy for production. We mentioned that to Ash earlier from GPW. Mathers hits a stunner on the stage, which also has the best lighting in the building. The match felt grudge-like, and I feel like it's given the time to be one. However, they brought the drama, but it lacked a story. If they had a story to match what they did in the ring, it would have made more sense. What I mean is both of these gentlemen heavily invested in the emotional aspects of this match, but they didn't have a storyline to make us care as to why. But I will say, given how these two wrestled, if they do have a storyline, this showed me that they could put on a quality final match to cap that story, and it's going to look good. So there are good things that come out of, a lot of things. This was one of them. Our winner here, Alec Price, he hits his new finisher, the 720 DDT for the win. Again, almost 18 minutes long. I could have had 10 and been happy, given the fact that a little bit of it, they were just kind of on the ground selling the situation. But, 18 minutes long for two of the young guys, and I think they did a damn good job showing that they can put on a more mature match when they're pushed to do so.
Yeah.
He said, whoa, what's wrong with Tito? Nothing is wrong with either of them. What I'm saying is, I don't know if I should pay to go to a GCW show, and it's my responsibility that I have to watch a bunch of local talent that I can catch for a much cheaper price weekly, or sometimes every other week. What I'm saying is if you're in the independent scene, man, you've seen half of these people. Why pay so much for those when that like, dude, get two locals off the show and get me somebody good from New York, or get two locals off the show and bring me someone in from Phoenix. That's just what I'm saying. I'm not being rough on it. I'm just saying that if I go to LA and 3 or 4 of my matches have locals in it, am I watching GCW or am I watching a local show with some GCW talents, overbearingly on the card? So I'm just saying it's not my responsibility to push local talent. It's not GCW's responsibility to put local talent. It's nice that they put on some, but it's not nice when they put on so many that a good chunk of the matches have local Larry Jr. in it. Don't really care to see local Larry Jr. I came there to see fucking Gringo Loco tear the place apart. I know it sounds asshole-ish. I've been an asshole tonight, and that's okay. That's all I have to say.
I wrote that my first note was I hope they have time during this match to tell a story. Maybe as future challengers for the JCW title. I think that fits along here. Why couldn't this match have been a #1 contenders match? Why don't we have any of those? I want wins and losses to matter. Like, I don't understand why it doesn't really matter as much in wrestling, especially when it's nice and easy and simple, where you can easily make it make sense and build up to challengers. And we build up momentum for future fans to cheer, boo against. But that was my big issue. Was this one is that they did have time to tell the story, but as you said, there was kind of a lack of it. And I just wish that maybe we could start throwing in some contendership matches here to help tell a story, even if it's just for that one match only. But I think the time that they both showed how much they improved as of late, and their chemistry definitely improved as well. I would like to see them run it back in they're perfect challengers for the JCW title. And I liked how what Price did. And we kind of talked about that camera being right there on the stage. Right before he did that crazy flip, he just kind of gave that crazy look into the camera and then did that
Loved it.
that 720 spinning DDT. Yeah, I wrote like, what the fuck did Price just do as a finisher? That was impressive. I loved it, especially coming off of the stage, like how it was. It was pretty good because the stage was level with the mat, so that kind of obviously made it a whole lot easier. But I just enjoyed what Price does. He's kind of adding more parkour kind of stuff into his moveset, and I kind of like it because he's going to come at you from anywhere and everywhere, and that fits him very good. As you said, he's just always a ball of fire. And I was happy to see him pick up the win. And I can see these two as young talents challenging and with a purpose, creating something that could be special for the JCW World title.
I'll just put this up here, and I wish I could put this
I agree.
bigger. Scramble matches have been fucking lacking. We do need to have those back. That's where the local talent should be. Again, I should not watch local Larry Jr. try to tear it up with one of our talents. Local Larry Jr. can be in the scramble match with all the young guys and all the other local talents that want to make a name for themselves. I think that's fair. Scramble matches were one of the biggest things at GCW, and we haven't seen as many lately. Death matches were a way bigger deal at GCW. We're not seeing as many of those lately. Lucha was a big deal at GCW. We're not seeing as many of those lately. That's why I had to talk about people canceling for a while. But at the same time, a lot of the things that we originally tuned in for are not here. And sadly, those were quite a few of the things that drew a lot of us in. Trust me, when I sit down someone new, the first thing I'm going to show them is a scramble. Just because. Look at all the fucking action. We need that back. If we're going to have local talent, get them off of my fucking match 3 for 3 minutes. Put them in the scramble. Let them go out there, get their name out there to a bunch of people that'll probably forget them, and let's move the fuck on. Ooh, now I'm mean. Ooh, I'm mean tonight, Brant. Ooh, okay. Oh, this is rare, guys. I'm sorry. I'm a hard ass tonight. This is just the way it's going to be.
All right.
Sorry. No, I'm just saying I tried too hard to be nice. Maybe tonight's just the way it's going to be. Brant's like, fuck. Okay.
I'm looking at the time and I'm saying, fuck.
I'm done. I'm done now. Yeah, I get that.
Next match is Joey Janela versus Danhausen. Or Danhausen's, I guess, if you want to.
All right. Danhausen's, yeah, they went from partners to opponents in 24 hours. This is the match they want to show AEW that they can do. It was what they wanted, an AEW WWE style wrestling match. I was happy to see Doors and Weapons included in this match because this match made me want GCW death matches even more. 5 Danhausens get in the ring. Danhausen then cursed Joey, and he's swarmed by those men. Joey does the you get a clothesline and you get a clothesline move. And that pretty much fought most of them off. I realized Danhausen's pants are fuzzy. Why the fuck I made a note for that? Who knows? Unsure if the audience was ready for this style in GCW is what I put here. I don't think this is what they were expecting. If they knew that was what was coming, then fine. But I also noticed Joey with a bad back was sent back first through 2 chairs off the top rope. Our winner in this one was Joey. This was an almost 20-minute match. And I put here, this was another match where there was drama and no storyline attached to it. I don't know. There were times where I just feel like the match pace was just way too slow and it needed to be picked up. I could have seen this 19-minute match in 13 minutes and been just as happy.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you when you wrote at the beginning how this was a match for both of them to show kind of AEW what they kind of got rid of and what they're missing out on or what they could have back. I did notice that, and I had that similar thought, but I'm glad you made a note of it because I didn't make a note out of it. For me, I feel like Joey's right back where he was before the title scene. He's back to where he is, having long matches against money-making names, and that's what this match felt like, and I don't mind it. It's good. It's fine. It's good for Joey to show that he can work against not bigger name talent. I think in this situation, he might be one of the bigger names going against Danhausen, but this is where I think Joey's role is, and if he fits it, fine. But for me, other than the match, I didn't mind the actual match, but I don't like how we got here after, as you mentioned, being tag partners the night before and now being opponents the next night, and it just having to fight each other. It just didn't make a lot of sense to me. But I enjoyed all the GCW Housens popping in the ring. That was I thought that was funny, and I think this was a good for good match for Danhausen because it got to stretch out his legs and give him a 20-minute match. And Joey is a perfect opponent for GCW to kind of have, as you said. I think I'd see the Danhausen part. I felt this was a more Joey match than Danhausen, other than like those couple Danhausen spots. But I think that this was good for Danhausen to show GCW fans that he can go 20 minutes in a GCW style match. And I didn't mind that, other than for him to kind of showcase that he does belong here, and he probably will be working here a little bit more moving forward. And yeah, I thought that was, other than the booking reasons why, I didn't mind this match.
Yeah. Great one said the deal with the Danhausen Army just felt forced and didn't seem to have any relation to. I really do feel they just dropped everything and said, we're just going to do a WWE style match as plain and as vanilla as we could. And that's exactly what they had. And halfway in, I'm like, this is like, it's not GCW. And the minute I saw weapons come out, I'm like, thank God. Because it was just too plain for me. And I love plain wrestling.
I actually thought maybe that we would get a 6 Danhausen later that would show back up and be an actual wrestler, though, to kind of start a new feud against Joey. That's where I was kind of hoping that would turn into.
Oh, that would have been so fucking good.
I did like the GCW houses. To me, I found it a little different. I get where I guess I now the quarterback in Tuesday night quarterback in it. I guess I could see why it does seem forced, and it didn't have any reason other than just to be there, though. But I think that's just Danhausen. You never know what tricks he's going to pull out and try to do to win, and what is up his sleeve. And I think that night just happened to be bring extra Danhausen instead of extra teeth. All right, our next matchup is a tag team match as Too Tough Tony teams with Violent J going against the High Seas, which was the team of Cloudy and Nick Endo.
I wrote here that we needed this fun match. The last 2 matches before this were just a touch vanilla. Tony grabs the ring and says Pondo got into some shit going on in Canada, and he's telling the truth. I love this. Get on the fucking microphone. We're all adults. Look, some shit happened. Let's just fucking address it. And again, I don't know what it is, but there are quite a few wrestlers I wish just get in the ring, fucking address it, so people don't have to sit around and talk about it all the time and speculate. Get in the ring and go, look, here's what's going on. Here's what's happening. We're all adults. This is what the situation is. And as soon as we can get the situation fixed, we will. And move the fuck on. It's not that hard. Too Tough Tony did right there what so many people are having a hard time doing. Walk in there, tell the truth, move the fuck on. I love it. Tony threatens to give everyone in the match 2 potatoes. I thought that was a cute little country saying. High Seas are out next, New York locals. Both men are beating on Tony. He can somewhat handle himself. To me, the beatdown went a little too long. We definitely did get the point. Fans were solidly behind Tony in this match. Then ICP's chicken hunting hits, and out comes Violent J to save the day. Jay cleans house for the win. So our winners here were Too Tough Tony and Violent J, when Too Tough Tony decided he was going to light his own fist on fire and punch someone with it. I put here that fans needed this lighthearted match, especially before our main event that was coming up.
Yeah, I think for an 8-minute piece, we kind of talked about the locals. I at least heard of High Seas before. No offense to the ones earlier. I heard of Bray Wellington before, but not seen too much of them. But once I kind of saw High Seas come out, and it was just Too Tough Tony, I was afraid to don't drag this out after what we just had earlier. I was kind of scared that I'd be similarly let down and walk away. Like I was almost about to walk out during that match even to go grab something to eat. But then I heard the chicken huntings come out. So then I kind of stopped and I was like, oh, okay, we do have some substance to this match other than whatever was happening. Cause at first I didn't understand what was happening either. We're just beating them up. And I originally wrote like, why does Too Tough Tony not have a fucking partner? You couldn't find one other goddamn wrestler in New York. And then like Violent J came out, and as I was typing that, I deleted it all back in, so I didn't say that. But that's where I it's the same as earlier. I was not feeling this little angle or segment or piece of the card. But once again, it's not for me. It's kind of for the locals, to the crowd and happy. And it did, once Violent J comes out, kind of does further the point and further in the point of GCW versus JCW at the Gathering of the Juggalos. And I'm actually slowly becoming a big fan of Too Tough Tony. Like I didn't see much of his original work, but what I'm seeing now, like I definitely got to go back and check it out because
he fits.
He's been impressive. Yeah, I was just about to say he has fit GCW to a T. That's why I think I've enjoyed every single bit of his time in GCW, because he just fits the everything.
And all that matters is that vibe. It doesn't even matter sometimes what you look like. It's more about what you bring to the show, and he totally fits, man. I love him.
Yes. All right. I believe this was a main event. Double checking. Yes. All right. Main event of the G Code was a 6-person tag match. And see, before I even say it, I'm about to like say all these names. And to me, this right here just goes, it feels repetitive. And why
Overkill.
I tuned out on this main event as well. It just feels like we've seen this many times, or some version or variation of this recently,
Yeah.
many times.
Yeah.
And this is no offense to the talent. I love the talent, everything that they do. It just feels like booking wise, it's like stagnant. But the 6-person tag match was a team of Manders, Effie, and Megan Bain going against Deathmatch Royalty, Broski Jimmy, Mance Warner, and Matt Cardona.
Well, we all know how this starts. Deathmatch Royalty is thoroughly heating up the crowd. The bell rings, fans solidly behind Effie as he starts for the good guys. The good guys were taking over a lot of this match, and the whole thing had a feel good, vibe to it for the first half. Effie was an absolute beast out there. The Manser Effie standoff I felt was epic. I like that the tag rules were used longer than I expected going into that match. Effie's sack rider on Cardona was impressive. Manders hits the stampede on Mance. I thought that was a nice little come up. Everything was breathing appropriately. The flow was smooth for 6 people, a lot smoother than other matches we had seen in that ring with less people. GCW chants rang out when Effie's DVD. Wow, John. GCW chants roll out when Effie's DVD hits Mance through a door. What are you thinking?
Fucking great one. Stop. That's what, like, literally the only note I wrote on this match. Goddamn.
What's that? Okay, then. Our winner was one called Manders, Effie, and Megan Bain when Bain reverses radio silence into a power bomb for the win. I wrote here that it's a great main event. Okay, what do you got going on?
Well, real fast, I love that ending. That was a cool moment for Megan Bain to reverse that radio silence. I thought that was like a key moment for her. Like, that match was built for that moment for her to kind of get over. Yeah, the only damn note I wrote on this match was I like the different promo from Jimmy. The same promo from Jimmy, but it was different because he messed up and made fun of Cardona, made fun of New York, forgetting that Cardona is from New York. That's the little key. Like, as we changes to that fan like me, because did I lose you? Or I think I have the.
No, you're good.
Right? Okay.
You're good.
I just, that little tweak of it's the same promo, but it's different in this city because Matt Cardona's from it. I enjoyed it. I was laughing. That's what I'm talking about with these little tweaks of to this character, to this match, to this booking, to this. These little tweaks just add a big moment to a fan like me, where a little detail goes a long way, or a little tweak and change. And at first, like, I was like, Jimmy, goddamn, same promo. And then I was like, wait a minute, is it from Cardona, Long Island? And then I'm an idiot, not knowing fully it's Long Island, Jersey, New York, and all of this stuff. And then when Cardona quickly got that point addressed and figured out, I was dying laughing, because then I was wondering if that's how they're going to maybe start the tease of Deathmatch Royalty and the breaking up, because of now maybe Jimmy Lloyd's fucking up and Matt Cardona is going to be more tough on Jimmy. They lost this match. I think they lost the night previous, right? Mance Warner lost to Joey and Danhausen won the night prior, right? I totally forgot off the top of my head, but like, it just, yeah, Bad Boy Hausen beat Deathmatch Royalty. It feels like maybe they're starting to put some friction into the stable. And I think, and hopefully maybe over these next couple of weeks shows, we got to start to see the Deathmatch Royalty start to break up. And then we get to see Manders be his own person, Jimmy be his own person, Cardona being left out by himself. And I think that's the best place for Cardona to be out by himself in GCW, and just taking all the egg on his face for these next couple shows after everything that he's done these last couple years to GCW fans and wrestlers. I was kind of noticed that little tweak, and I'm hoping that's where they go with, especially after they pick up another loss in back-to-back nights against a totally different set of teams and factions. That's where I'm kind of hoping and wondering where they go from here.
Same. I don't have any any thoughts on who it might be? Do you?
My guess earlier was JBL,
Yeah.
but I don't see him working a Art of War Games fucking match. I can
Oh,
see
hell
making
no.
maybe making an appearance. My thing is Raj Desi probably is what is my guess.
Ooh.
We haven't seen him for a while. He did those couple matches and that's it. Other than that, I honestly have no idea where they could go. And that's what makes me a little intrigued for this match, but I'm still ultimately not looking forward to art. They can make this get rid of Art of War and make this a Survivor Series style 4-on-4 matchup, and then save the Art of War games for some other ultra violent groups or people. That's where I would kind of make that change. But I know they want the big names, the big marquee, and Deathmatch Royalty and Team Effie have kind of been a thing all this year, and they're going to do a big blow up. Brian Myers is a good idea as well.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind that, but then it just for me it takes away GCW War Games. It just makes it a plain old WWE War Games, and I love that violence of the first like Team 440 against Team GCW. Fucking fantastic. Then the next year you get the tag team wars, and they go through all their shit in Art of War Games, and you got all the tag teams. That was fucking fantastic. What was last year? Off the top of my head, like I remember Ciclope fell and hit his head last year, but I couldn't remember like what the teams were, or what the
Couldn't tell you.
I know off the top of my head, I can't remember too, but to me, I'm not looking forward
We have
to
reviewed so many shows.
Right?
we have. I'll have to take account someday. We have reviewed a lot of shows.
Oh yeah,
I really wanted to put this one.
Nick Cage. That's what it was.
Is that what it was?
GCW, yeah.
I just wanted to put something up here like this. In her heel days, you know who I'd put in here as a straight fucking assassin would have been Slimovich. To have Cardona, Manser, I would have put Masha in there. That team would have been absolutely deadly. And like I said, she's an assassin. She'll take out whoever needs to be taken out. That would have been a very deadly group. So
yeah, I don't know like who's going to be the fourth. My main guess is if I had to put money is Raj Desi, but other than that, I don't know where they could go. Maybe they bring back, maybe Cardona gets creative and bring back a name we haven't seen before, as we were kind of talking about. That would be very cool.
That'd be nice.
But as someone said in our sports entertainment area, I'm thinking someone sports entertainment. I just hope they do something good with this one, because like I said, to me, that's what's hindering on how successful this is going to be. I wouldn't have wanted to see STL in that match anyway. Like I said, this match is not aimed towards me as a Art of War Games GCW style match. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Just put up here Freedoms versus GCW, and then Masha's too established as too established right now. A year ago would have been perfect, but if I needed someone to stand in the ring with Cardona and whatnot and be like, this is our enforcer, I could see where she could come in there like Russian Dynamite and just take them out. We did it. I think we did show 2.
Yes, we have done show 2. Thank you.
I'll go ahead and just do the upcoming shows real quick and we'll close it out. Does that sound good, brother?
Sounds good.
All right, here we go. Our upcoming shows. Next, we have Friday, September 20th, 3 days from now, GCW's Aura from Harrah's Philadelphia Casino and Racetrack in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We have Homicide versus Marcus Mathers, Sydney Akeem versus Ares, Brooke Havoc versus Tasha Steeles. That would be good. Bailey versus Ruckus, Janela and Bane versus Kirk and Catal. Another banger. Tremont versus Zilla. Wonder how that one's going to go. And then Mance Warner versus Tony Depp, and I believe that's for the GCW World Championship. I'm really looking forward to seeing how those two dance together.
It's at the Racetrack?
Yeah.
I wonder if that's the same venue that oh my god. I know Jordan Oliver and Carlito had a match like at the Racetrack for like it was like a part of GCW. They were always put their shows on the YouTube, but hybrid wrestling. I wonder if that's the same place Hybrid had their show, because that was a pretty cool venue, that Racetrack.
Great one. Great one. There we go. There's Frank coming in.
Hybrid. I remember Hybrid, but I just don't know if that's the same one. I had to think there. I just remember Jordan. This is the sick venue-ness, my brain, my mental illness, venues. Jordan Oliver versus Carlito outside. I went right to there. Yeah, off to the races. There we go. That was a good card too.
All right. And then on to Saturday, September 21st, GCW's back-to-back from Webster Theater in Hartford, Connecticut. On this show, we have Matt Cardona versus Megan Bain, Matt Tremont versus Brandon Kirk. We're seeing more Tremont, and I'm not going to complain. Zilla Fatu versus Tony Deppen. Richard Holiday versus Marcus Mathers. Holy
Marshall
shit.
Mathers. Oh, we got
I was
Eminem.
listening to Houdini not that long ago.
I was thinking
Sydney
Galeno
Akeem.
Damal's going to be coming out here.
I love Galeno. That's another story for another day. Sydney Akeem versus Blake Christian, I think, could be a fantastic match. And for our GCW World Championship, Mance Warner takes on Joey Janela. There will also be an appearance by Effie, like we always have. We don't have an opponent for him yet, but we've got that he's going to be there. So Effie's going to be there. We'll figure it out when he gets there.
So I've just got to mentally prepare now to kind of have the same kind of matchups between Mance and Joey, Mance and Manders again, Mance and Bane, Mance and Effie over these next month. And that's what kind of like disappoints me, is like we were going so far away to start new stuff and we're back to doing the old stuff with the same people. Like I think that's what kind of drove me away from these two main events. Was it just feels like on a weekend where there's a bunch of newness, we went back to oldness for our biggest kind of story and angle for one of our biggest gimmick matches of the year. And to me, it just seems like it's been kind of, as you were saying, kind of watered down and overdone. So hopefully they could do some cool things and do some craziness out of War Games, but they're going to have to do some stuff over these next couple of weeks to get me more excited. That's for sure. Maybe some more like teases of like hotel room footage of someone getting attacked as a mask and stuff like that to start teasing who this mystery partner could be.
Great one. Yeah, I'm hoping Deathmatch Royalty loses at War Games and motivates the change and dynamic forward. I really hope so too, because otherwise we're getting the same old stuff and we need variety.
Thank you, Rose. That's what I need. I need that pep talk to help me up here, because I'm just like, man, like I loved it at the time, but it's like that was April. We're in September and October, and we're going to be seeing the same shit that I saw then. Me, I want newness. I want uniqueness. I want to see new matchups, new styles, new fights. But I do understand the importance of a big blow off. I just, at the time right now, like I feel like Effie and Mance, I felt like at some point to there, they could have ended earlier and didn't need to go that long. I think this feud needs to end at Fight Club. And as great one, you said too, it changes everything moving forward. I hope Jimmy goes and wants to reestablish the deathmatch scene. Like I think they just got an easy way with Jimmy to turn him face and like, hey, you guys called us the deathmatch royalty. We did 0 fucking death matches. I'm tired of this shit. And I'm tired of being made fun of. I'm going to reestablish myself. And I hope a lot of dynamics change after War Games.
It's time.
I think so.
I think that's a good way to put it. I think everyone is doing amazing work. It's just they're doing the same amazing work, and it's time to switch it up a little bit. And that's coming from all fans.
Yeah. All right, we have done it.
I still want
Effie
to take
that to happen at some point too. I do want that at some point to be the big blow off of everything. But that's why I said Jimmy smashing Cardona with one light tube is going to change Jimmy for the positive in so many ways. If it's done in AC and it's done in a good way, if he's tired of this is like the Otis and Gable. Like I'm comparing this to WWE. Like you can only take so much shit for too long where you snap, and then when that snap happens, that pop is going to be ginormous. And I hope Jimmy gets that in AC as well. Our War Games is in AC. I have it up here, right? Yeah, it is AC.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that's what I'm hoping to. I'm hoping for Fight Club to be kind of a big, for the fans to leave happy and to talk about a lot of cool things.
We did it, man.
Yeah,
300 plus of us online right now. It is 2 a.m. in the morning on the East Coast, 11 p.m. on the West Coast. You guys are fucking awesome. I love you guys, really. Like, we've always wanted to make sure that this is a community, and we are continuously building. I'm watching. There were wrestlers coming in through here listening all throughout the night. This is really important to all of us that you're supportive, and we're very thankful for all of that. I just wanted to make sure I said that tonight. I've been a steaming dick. I have never been a steaming dick about things. There are quite a few things that I guess I just needed to get off my chest. And like I said, I'm happy I was able to do that. My DMs are open for anyone who heard me complaining about anything. And I'm more than happy to just talk with them. And we'll go from there. So,
yes, thank you. Thank you, everybody that's in here week in, week out, hour 1 through hour 3, sometimes hour 4. Hopefully, we don't get that long again. But
It's
yes,
happened.
thank you, everybody here. I know we always do a bad job. I'm trying to do better, so Cass doesn't yell at us here. But at the bottom, if you would like to support us in the Body Slam team, go to slamchance.com, show your support, and donate to the Body Slam team and to us as well. Only 2 a.m. We are in, Las Vegas. There we go.
Las Vegas, baby. Brant and I could have been across the world. When he needed to find someone to sit here and talk with him, we ended up finding out we were 7 minutes away from each other at most. We could have been anywhere in the world.
And real fast too, I do want to promote your appearance coming up on. Well, not coming up; it already happened last week. But send cookies. John did a interview with Tom Talks Rubbish. You can find that out on YouTube. Just type in Tom Talks Rubbish. John was in there. He had a great interview. I was able to check it out this week. He talked about how we started, your love for GCW and everything. I did the same thing as well. Mine comes out, I think, this Friday. He's starting to send clips out. It's funny.
Hell yeah.
We're GCW. All the clips he's sending out is AEW, which is all good because AEW is one of my second favorite promotions. I could talk AEW in a podcast all day. So we did talk a lot about there. But John, I know, as you were just saying, you brought up that same point of how we could have been around the world, but we're 5 minutes apart down the street, a car ride away. It's pretty crazy. And so yeah,
we don't visit much, but we do know we're right here if necessary. It's just the way we are. It works.
I got too much teaching going on there this week. It was nuts. Yeah. But if you want to hear about John's story and how we came aboard and helped me start GCW podcast and his love of wrestling, his favorite wrestlers and all that stuff. He does talk about that on his. And then check out mine this Friday as well. But John was probably way better. I think he when just listening to yours, I was like, oh shit, I'm afraid how mine's gonna come out because I don't remember. It's been a while, but yours was really good.
Thanks, man. Everybody's always picky about their shit. You know how it is.
Right.
So, no, it's really nice. It was good to be interviewed. That was, I think, my first or second interview by another podcaster. And I just wanted to be as honest, as authentic as possible. And that's what I tried to do because we never do that. We tell our opinions all day long, but we never talk about how, why, who, what. And I think that was covered a lot for anyone who, cares to do so. But I put myself out there. I know you put yourself out there, and deservedly, we're proud of what we did. And I think Tom did an awesome job. I also did some work with Mark Hoke's channel or station. I was on Las Vegas radio station doing talk radio on KDON this weekend on Sunday, and they brought me in as a death match expert, we'll just say. They wanted to know about GCW's influence on AEW, and they wanted to make sure they brought some in who kind of knew what they were talking about. I've talked to Mark for years, no kidding. We've crossed paths 100 times, and Brett was looking for someone out in Vegas to do media, and Mark Hoke, who has that radio station, fit perfectly. So that's everything that's going on. We became busy boys, but 300 plus on here tonight. It's been a great night. Thank you so much.
All right. Yeah. Wow. I'm about the same way too. Like my final breath and then bedtime.
I'm gonna get so bitched at by everyone.
Thank you, Rose. Thank you for calming down after your first couple of messages after last week as well. I know you've been triggered here, so we appreciate you calming down. I love all those comments, seeing that. I get worked up. I see those comments. I feel his anger and not anger, but the stuff that he wants to talk about. I feel the energy like how I feel when I'm talking.
As soon as we can afford. As soon as we can afford, we'll go to AC. That's literally the only thing stopping us. We can always be found in LA, Las Vegas, generally Phoenix.
So, I didn't get LA tickets. I'm trying to get LA. I'm trying to go to LA in October, but I was actually thinking about maybe skipping LA if this ain't going to happen. But financially, if I was able to skip LA and go to NGI, I do want to do a deathmatch tournament in AC. I want to see NGI TOS in AC. I want to go to AC. I'm a lot less thrilled and motivated now that the carousel room's not being used as I was before. But before I was like, I need to go carousel. I need to go carousel. So I guess one day I do want to go out there and take a trip out there and see the AC crowd and be a part of their crowd and see how it comes across on TV, see how it is in person, because they are different than LA fans. I think in a good way. LA fans are good in their own energy way, but I like what AC provides. Yeah, I do want to check out AC one day. But I was trying to get up there for NGI, but I don't think that's going to be happening. But that was my ultimate goal one day.
Good news
Maybe
on
New
my
Year's.
end. I know that I can make December in LA now. I literally just bought I just paid for my hotel room, so I know for sure anybody who wants to like meet up and have some fun in December in LA, I'll definitely be there. Hit me up. I'm the big fucker with the loud shirt on. It's not hard to find me.
We'll see. I don't know. Like, it's the week before our winter vacation. Like, if it was the following week, I'd probably be 100% there, and Arizona and everything. But I do want to try at least making one of those shows in December as well. But I think I'm going to try still October this year, or this coming up a month for LA.
But it's in the plans, man. We really want to get out there. We have so many people that want to see us out there, and there's so many people we want to meet out there. So yeah,
same. I would just buy a ticket and just take pictures of like different GCW shirts I'm wearing underneath the carousel. Like, that's what I would be in there for. Not
you
even doing the
me up over your shoulders, and then I could pick you up and take pictures.
I want to point out like a blood stain out on the ground, like that was Orin Vite's blood stain from Cole Radrick and whatever. So like I just would like to see the history of it, even though it's like just now a mini golf place. But I there was a lot of history there, in my opinion.
I just want to get shit faced and passed out on the boardwalk like the rest of us winners.
Like Joey. You want to be right next to Joey?
Fuck yeah, let's just do it together, man. We'll puke together and call each other friends. I love it.
All right. Yeah, that was a good. We did cover a lot of things during 3 hours. Thank you, everybody. Larry, Frank, great one.
Thank you.
Reed.
God, there were so
all
many
these other names we forget. Bravo, new viewer. I saw C Bravo. I was like, what? When he brought up AEW, I'm like, I wonder if that's Carly Bravo from AEW. You never know. Like when Blake Christian came in as Blake Christian, like that's not Blake Christian.
And then it ends up being,
right.
You know, it's wild in here. I'm just happy everyone is a very supportive community, and that's the whole point of everything. Since you're deep into the show, and if you're watching still, we have a guest that'll be coming on October 1st. I'm not going to officially announce it, but for the people that are listening here now, we're going to have Bobby Flacco on the show on October 1st. And I think that's going to be a good time. He has some amazing travels, and I can't wait to talk about some of the crazy places he's been.
I honestly think I'm going to have all travel questions and no wrestling questions.
That's cool. That's cool.
I just want to hear all the stories. I want to hear like behind the scenes of the YouTube videos that he makes, all the deep shit that he doesn't even post, but all the crazy shit that he knows has happened. I definitely want to speak to him a lot.
Hell yeah. He's going to be a lot of fun. And then I am looking to book out a couple more interviews that are coming up here soon. So everybody just stay tuned, because right now we've been fortunate enough that wrestlers are just falling in line to do interviews, and we're very fortunate for their support.
Also, real fast, this probably should be off camera. Don't finalize the following one after October, the next one. I have 2 ideas I want to reach out to first to see if I can get it that weekend. And if not, then I'll reach out to you.
That's fantastic news, guys. So yeah, there we go. We're lining up interviews. There's going to be more coming. And gosh, it feels good to get these done. And it feels really good to give these to everyone. It's just, we're trying to make sure that everyone is given dignity. That's all. So whoever comes in here is given the dignity as a performer, not just as their performance.
Yeah, as you see, we most of these conversations, half of it is wrestling, half of it's like learning about them, and because we don't get to see or hear from them outside and do other podcasts, so that's kind of why the people that we're getting are some people that maybe aren't on as other platforms podcast, people that you never really heard of before, and you get to hear their story. So I'm very interested for Bobby, that's for sure. But I think mine's going to be no wrestling.
And Manders was an excellent conversation. So if you have a chance, go back. Awesome. His stories were so damn good. I did not expect for him to be that. Okay, you expect everybody to be fun. He was just he was an enjoyable conversationalist. You can tell he's a country boy. He's totally a country boy. He can sit there and bullshit with you on the porch all day long. Loved it.
Did you see he wore the gray pants that you said he should wear?
I noticed
that one.
I was like, I wonder if that had any play before he packed up the old tighties. Did he say, "I'm doing it for
I
Wolf
saw
tonight"?
that one. That was my first thought of. I'm like, oh, he packed those tidy whities just for John.
Yeah. Well, also Murdoch
Tidy
said
boys, I
something that
guess.
was addressed on this show where I had said, "Listen, I'm getting tired of seeing people sit there and, oh, will you hold these tubes and then I'll go run across and then kick them into you." Murdoch mentioned, he's like, "I'm not one of those guys who will just make you hold tubes and I run around." I wonder if that came from here or somewhere else. But either way, I thought it was an important thing to do. Just stop making people hold tubes while you kick the ever loving shit. No one would agree to that. So
Yeah, I agree.
anyway, the complaints are over for the night. I swear. If anybody wants to send me a psych bill for everything I just put you through, perfectly fine. But overall,
Rose's ready for us. Rose's already one step ahead of us. He's checked out and gone.
Yeah, he's rolled his like fourth joint by now.
All right.
But yeah,
Thank
thank
you
you,
again,
everybody.
everybody.
It's time to do this.
All right, here we go. All right. I don't think long live. It's time to be positive. C
W. Have a fantastic night. Love you guys.
Thank you all.